Good early morning, members of Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. How's everybody doing this morning? For those that tune in here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters on YouTube, those who follow my group, Spiritual Encrypted Encounters on Facebook, and for those who follow my Showreel Tech Talks under APCS 895, how's everybody doing this early morning? I just came from a dance, a little bit tired from all the dancing we did, uh, but I decided to do live. Uh, when I go out there dancing, the only thing I drink is H2O. So, how you doing, Sister Madeline? So I decided to do a live. So yeah, I did a lot of dancing, and my wife accidentally stepped on my toe. So I was feeling some pain on the toe, but that's okay. Uh, like I said, I was drinking H2O, so I said let me do it early morning live, see if anybody's up. Depends how many people show up, how long you'll stay on the live. Um, got to keep the algorithm uh going. Well, I got to do something real quick before I continue. Yeah, that don't get me tired. I got all kinds of energy. I might be older, but I still got the energy to dance all night. I don't get tired. I used to be a long distance runner, so I just going dancing is just a warm up. My wife was tired because she worked early in the morning. So yeah, there was a live band that was playing out there. I do and Sister Annette, Brother Lawrence. Um, I'll try to shoot a link to Cousin Jesse, but I think he's asleep. I'll send him a link anyways, just in case he pops up out of nowhere. Uh, yeah, yeah, he's probably asleep. I doing Shadow. Yeah, we danced all night. Yeah, well, you're way younger. So yeah, I used to dance all night long when I was around your age. Well, I still do. They're like my younger brothers and sisters. They're around your age. I think Sister Madeline. I don't know how old you are. Well, they might be a little bit older than you, but uh they're like, when you gonna stop doing all those going to dances? It's like I love to dance. What's wrong with me? They're like, you're not getting any younger. I say, yeah, it doesn't matter. So if I'm getting any younger, it's about having fun. I love to dance, go work out, cardio. I try to get my brother and sister to go out there, but they're not like me out there on the dance floor. I've been dancing since I was a kid, so it's first to nature. Yeah, I'm getting older, but it still don't stop me from dancing. I love to dance. Oh, happy birthday, Sister Madeline. 30 years. So, it was a pretty good dance. Just the floor, wish the floor would have been a little bit more smoother. You know, it was out there in the country, so the floor was kind of rough. So it's kind of like you can really slide like you want to slide or move like you want to move because the floor, was cement. So it's kind of like dancing, like if you're dancing in quicksand or something, it slows you back. You know, it's a good leg workout and all, but you just got to adjust on the dance floor. Yeah, I've been dancing since I was a small kid. When I was like 3 years old, 2 years old, to get 3 years old, we used to go to the parish hall for the Catholic Church. I remember they had dressed me up in the traditional ways of the Mexican dance, where the girl has the flower dress. I was the boy with with that sombrero on, and we had to throw the sombrero on the ground, and we had to dance around. I had to dance around the sombrero, you know, hitting my feet a certain way, taconazos. And I remember my grandmother; she was right there in the audience. She was in the front row, just looking at me, and she was crying. She had a like a handkerchief, but she was crying because she was seeing me dance. Yeah. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you, Sister Madeline. Happy birthday to you. Yeah. I dance to anything actually, but when I go dancing here in Texas, uh, it's ballroom dancing, Tejano. I can dance to norteño, to salsa, merengue, to anything, country, all kind of hip hop. I used to be in the military, so I used to dance everything, especially, when you're in the army and you just see I'm one of those people that I just see what the people are doing and I just mimic the moves and I learn real fast, just by looking how people are dancing. So yeah, I've been dancing all my life. My wife freaked out with me tonight because I had her doing all kinds of moves. And she was like, "You wasn't even drinking." I said, "I don't need a drink to dance. I'm a natural dancer. If you said it here, you can accomplish anything." Just thank you, Sister Annette. Yeah. Guapangos, polkas, cumbias, uh, the wapangos. I can dance wapangos. It's just when you hit your heels on the wapangos, as the movie goes, as the songs go pretty fast beats, you can get tired real fast. When I was a youngster, man, I'll be flying on the dance floor. I'm older now, uh, and I'm not as light as I used to be. So I'm moving, like, I don't know, last time I weighed myself, I was like 258, 260 pounds, 260, moving 260 pounds on the dance floor and trying to be agile out there, which I am pretty agile. Or I'm thinking that I weigh like 250 right now. I don't know. I haven't weighed myself. 250, 260. That's how much I weigh. But I do work out. Yeah. It's just once you get the hang of it, you just got to practice. Practice makes perfect. How you doing, Walkins with Bear? So I just decided to do a late night live, just see how everybody's doing. Got to keep the algorithms going, but the band was pretty cool. Uh, we know my wife knew some of I guess the sister of the band, and they invited us to a wedding, which they're probably going to be performing at the wedding. So it's it's a local band from here in Central Texas. How you doing, Runner? The second Runner? But today is Sister Madeline's birthday. She's 30 years old. Man, when I was 30, shoot, I think I had just barely left the military. Uh, when I left the military, I was 29 years old. So, yeah, it's a long time ago. My son, I was 32 years old when my son was born. So he's already 22. So time flies. The only thing I can tell you is enjoy the time that you have, every moment. Just enjoy it as much as you can because by the time you know it, you're going to be my age and I'm going to be a lot older. Hopefully, with the Heavenly Father's grace. But yeah, time flies. Sister Melissa's I did all my dump crap in the 20s. So there's to hoping the 30s is better. Yeah. Well, nobody's perfect. We all have our obstacles that we go through, our trials and tribulations. Okay, there it is, right here. That's what I was looking for. I was looking for my charger, but I don't think I need it. I'm just gonna place it over here for right now. So how everybody's doing? Man, it's expensive nowadays to go out, especially this location. They were selling waters for $2. A a domestic beer, I mean a regular beer, $4. And anything imported was a lot more. Yeah, I like going like to the VA, I mean to the VFW or locations like that because the beers are not that expensive. But man, some of these clubs, I want to charge you an arm and a leg just to go. And just that I don't drink, you know. My wife drank a couple of beers, you know. Uh, I dance to anything. I don't really have a favorite song. Ballroom dancing, I can dance any kind of style. Borracho style, conjunto style. Uh, just when you've been dancing so long, it's first in nature. There's people there that ask me, "Do you practice?" I said, "No." So it's just when if the person can follow you, then that's how you be. If you get a person that follows you, or I mean, I've trained people like I was talking the other night. The stories where you know people that didn't know how to dance. I've showed them how to dance. Anything, it's just Tejano, uh, cumbias, everything, anything dealing with that, polkas, guapangos, uh, or country. I'm not really too much into country, but I know how to do the two step. I like to do the two step. All those country line dances. No, not really into that. I could probably pick it up. And, I mean, when you're a natural dancer, it's first to nature. Yes, very true. And then you gotta have you know, it's not that hard to teach somebody how to dance something. It's about like me. I've been doing all my life. It's like it's in here. but it's in here because you're dancing with you have passion for it, you have love. Well, you're going to dance with passion and love, and it's going to show on the dance floor because that's your passion. That's what you love to do. So when people look at you, they're like, "Oh shoot," they freak out. I was People always looking at my feet. We're always looking at our feet because they're trying to figure out how are we dancing like that. But it's when you're happy and it's a passion for you. It shows. Yeah, I knew Selena when she was like 11 years old. Um, when she was part of 11 or 12 years old, when she was part of Los Dinos. I think there was called Selena Los Dinos or something like that. When she was a kid, I remember seeing her uh, at there was this in the Rio Grande Valley. There was his salon called El Toro, the Bull, but in Spanish it's called El Toro. And I remember her going towards the restroom and when after intermission, but when they barely started singing, when they made the band, it was called Selena Los Dinos. Yeah. So seeing her as a kid, just make sure she came out of the restroom safely or whatever. Nobody messed with her because I know how people in Matan are. But then they continue to perform. That's it. Then it's like a couple years later, like I guess 3 4 years later, I think she was like 16 at the time when she had that the cowhide outfit. That's when she started showing her true talent. Like she was real good. We used to go see them in Harlingen, all throughout the valley. They used to have during the summer. They had concerts, outdoor concerts. So you pay, and sometimes the outdoor concerts on there were free to the public. So I always say her, Selena Los Dinos, or Selena. She was called Selena then. Uh, they had Grupo Mas, like top names, La Mafia, La Sombra, Los Chamacos. Man, I used to do a lot of dancing in my teenage years. My son is a natural dancer too. It's within him. He's gone with me to some of the dances, and he likes dancing cumbias. He's a natural dancer also. So I showed him the steps, and man, he can go. People are probably like, what is he talking about? Yeah, I used to go to quinceañeras, weddings. I used to crash all throughout the valley. For those that know the Rio Grande Valley, it's like towns are connected literally next to each other. So there's always a quinceañera or a wedding, and of course there's bands playing conjuntos. Then they got livestock shows where they bring a lot of bands. You'd be there early in the morning till late at night. But I grew up around all that music. So yeah, I was just making this. I don't. I think Jesse is knocked out, but that's okay. Yeah, I was. You know, I'm out there dancing with an injured toe. I was out there dancing with an injured toe. I still got an injured toe, but I don't let that bother me from going dancing. Uh, Still got to doing little procedures here and there to try to get it fixed. but that don't stop me from dancing. It's all mind over matter. So who loves to dance here? Who's the dance here? Renner said he loves to dance. He said he's a pole dancer. He's got a pole set up in his house and dances around the pole. Renner like a chipping doll. Oh wow. Oh wow. Yeah. Where's Renner at? I thought he was here. Wasn't he here saying that it was his birthday, like the second or something? I danced German polkas when I was in Germany. I had two female friends that they showed me how to dance polkas, like German polkas. Okay, here we go. He said dance country, line dance, two step, and stuff like that. Unless I'm drunk. Yeah, you see, I already know you, runner. I knew you're one of those guys that has a pole set up in your bedroom to put on the show, especially when you're drunk. Sister Annette, yeah. There was one time that I was dancing and we were dancing on the dance floor, and it literally felt like we was dancing in air, like we were not even touching the dance floor, like we were dancing off the ground. I used to love Tejano, techno. Yeah, I used to Germany, all the techno. This is like in '89. They had techno, the techno with all those freaking what do you call them? Camel lights, red and different colors. People would put in their mouth, you know, light up their mouth and yeah, a lot of techno in Germany. That's good, runner. Yeah, yeah. I was getting out of control there when I was in my 30s. So, Sister Madeline, don't go out of control like I was getting out of control in my 30s. Well, the 20s and the 30s, I stopped when my son was born, but uh, I used to go dance a lot, and it wasn't just dancing; it was drinking. I would buy me a half gallon of Bacardi, Puerto Rican rum, finish the bottle. I wasn't drinking it by myself, but mixed drinks and dancing all night. I think I got a picture of me. Maybe I'll share it when I was in my 20s. My shirt is just full of sweat because that's how much dancing I would do. Sister Madeline, we be clubbing. Boom, 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 boom. We be clubbing. Boom, 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 boom. Thank you, Under Fire, for tuning in. Have a good night. Yeah, I remember back in the '80s when they had those breakdancing competitions. Not the breakdancing like the Olympics with the chick from Australia, but the real break dancing. I remember those events when people were break dance. Yeah, people be getting in fights because of those break dances. Yes, Luca Vega. I believe that some of them are missing because they've been taken. There's a lot of children missing in the United States, and we already know where a lot of them have disappeared too. The people that are in power, all these pedal rings, but at the same time, there is the DDM, uh, the Legion, shadow figures that can manifest to look like somebody that can take the children with them. I'll give you a story since you asked. I believe yes. I believe that they're being taken. The bigger question is where are they being taken and how? That's the bigger question. How? I remember something that happened to me when I was growing up. I danced to anything, man. Old school songs. I just don't do the YMCA, even though I know how to do it. I don't like doing that. Why? Uh, Brick house. I mean, whatever place, dance, especially when I used to drink. But I don't need a drink to dance. That's natural for me. I go to raves, yeah, like those raves, like from Blade when they're in the club. That was a pretty good scene when they're raving in the club and stuff, and then it just chaos happens. Yeah, I knew people that would go to raves and they'd be doing acid and all kinds of stuff, popping pills. But who was the one? Is the person that asked the question still here? So I can share a story. Well, I've shared this story before, but yes, to make it a simple answer, it would be yes, that they can deceive children, pretend that they're friends, and then they'll probably ask them, "Do you I'm your friend. Do you want to go with me to my house? I have toys or something of that nature." And what they're really seeing is like a dark spirit. So the kids, they don't. They're like, okay, because if the parents don't raise them right, don't be talking to strangers, so they follow. Um, so they take them to another dimension through the portal. The portal that I witnessed, what they use is through the trees. They can use the portals using the tree. If a tree can be a portal, and if the child is telling them, like I'm your friend, and they're believing it, just like they're believing it, then it could take them to another dimension. Gary Lower Morning said I had the thing knock on my window like 3 a.m. All I remember is a face and eyes, and then nothing. You were like 5? Yes. So if anybody has got children that have imaginary friends and they're playing with them and all this stuff, uh, as a head of the household, take authority over that and talk to the children that even if an imaginary friend comes and pretends, because they can come as a imaginary friend just to infiltrate and get close to the child. Once they get to the close to the child and they get to know them, then they can deceive them. Somebody says, Lawrence, how many knocks if you remember? I think you said last time was three knocks. Sometimes they'll do a tapping sound, knocking sound, or a banging sound. Three. If y'all notice, brothers and sisters, I was watching a show, something dealing with Bigfoot. Some show where these guys are young or whatever, and this guy is trying to talk to a Bigfoot, right? So this guy is literally grabbing a piece of wood and banging on a tree. Boom, 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 three times. He did three times, and then he starts yelling like in a weird noise, like three times, but no contact. The guy was pissed off because he was banging the tree. You could hear something in the distance, but I think it was a coyote. But he's sitting, he hit the tree three times. What is that really doing? We know when demons manifest, the the three tappings, three knockings, three bangings. When they attack people, three scratches, three bite marks, three bruises. It's because it's demonic. So all these Bigfoot people that are out there banging on trees and they're banging it three times. Uh, what are you really doing? You're opening up a portal. That's what you're doing. How come you can just bang it once? Bang it one time, but you got to go bang it three times. What are you really doing out there? There you go. Recites. If you hear three knocks, do not open the door. Three knocks are mocking the Holy Trinity. Exactly. Which would mean it's something demonic. Yes, brother. Demons. So around this time frame that we have right now, that be causing all kinds of chaos between. Sometimes it varies, but when I got lured into the woods when the woman was yelling for help, it was around this time frame, between three. When I went into the woods, shit, man, between three and four in the morning, I was out there for a while. When I got surrounded by those six figures, or should I say, people want to call them dogmen. I just say three demons because of the time frame, three in the morning. I think cousin Jesse is asleep, brother. Uh, I sent him a link, but yeah, he's asleep. I told him if I did a live, it was going to be a late live. Yes, everything in threes. When I was being attacked by the succubus, incubus, which are demonic, I was waking up with three scratches, sometimes three bruises, three bite marks. Uh, Everything was in threes. when I was being attacked by the succubus and incubus. Yeah, brother, Rich, I just got on, man. You seen I'm only 35 minutes in. I was just doing a quick live feed just to uh think some I posted on my Facebook for those who are my friends on Facebook where I went to a dance. You know, my wife been wanting to go to a dance, so the dance was today. I thought it was tomorrow. So I told cousin Jesse that I wasn't gonna do a live this evening, probably when I came back from the dance. So I came back from the dance. I don't drink, so I'm wide awake. So that's why I'm here doing the live right now. Yeah, yeah. The only thing bad thing about that is that when I was surrounded by this is what happened to me in the path of Elm Grove. You know, of the story how my sister woke me up because she heard a woman yelling for help. I went outside and I could hear the cry for help. So I went inside, put on some warm ups and stuff because it was cold. It was around this time frame, like late October, somewhere around there, when it was the temperature's already dropping to be cold, and I could hear the woman yelling for help. So I grabbed my bat and I told my sister I'll be right back. Let me see if I can help her. So I followed the sound of where it was coming from. So I went through the park, and the park is pretty big in Elms Grove. So I could hear that the cry from help was coming from inside the woods. So in my mind, I was like, "Oh shit, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna stay out here or I'm gonna go in?" So, to me, being in the military, I've been in the darkest places in the world. When I was in Operation Desert Storm, and the burning oil wells, burning tanks were covering the sky. All the smoke, well, you couldn't even see your hand like this. So I said, I'm gonna go in there and help this woman, because that's what I do. Prior military, and I'm just one of those kind of people that if somebody's in need of help, I'm gonna go in there. So I didn't have a flashlight with me, no flashlight. I went in blackout mode. That's why the show got it wrong, because I never told them that I had a flashlight. I told them I went in there with no flashlight. That I went in blackout mode, which means that if somebody was doing harm to the woman, then I'm gonna go there with no flashlight, because if you light up a flashlight, they're gonna see you coming. So I went in there with no flashlight in the darkness because I wanted to do a surprise attack on the person that was causing her harm. That's why when they're in the darkness with no flashlight. I did have a bat in my hand. I didn't have a weapon. I had to react fast. When you hear a woman yelling for help like that, man, at three something in the morning, it sounds like she's being killed or something bad's happening to her. So, natural reaction is go just go. I went in there and started walking the path, and could hear the her yelling for help getting closer and closer. I went straight in and took a left on the path, and as I'm there and I'm getting close because I hear her getting closer, like I could hear her saying, help me," like real loud. So as I'm fixing to swing the bat, because I could hear her right beside me, it stops. It's just three something in the morning. The cry for help stops. So I'm looking, I'm not saying nothing because I don't, I was going there like stealth mode, ninja mode. So I'm looking to see if I see any movement or for her to say something else so I could swing the bat at whoever's doing the harm. And I don't hear nothing no more, you know? So I'm looking and I look, the leaves are already falling off the trees, so I could see across the creek. I could see the gas station, and there was a club to the right, but the club was empty. There was nobody there. You know, it's 3 something in the morning, everything's closed. So I'm looking in front of me to see, I look to the side or to see if I can see any movement of her to say, help me one more time. Nothing. So as I'm looking towards the creek behind me, my senses just got triggered. My hair started standing up, my arms. Uh, I had like a little cold that day. I had a cold and my hairs just stood up on my arms. So I already knew. Then the other thought that came to me is you've been set up, you know, something tricked you to come into the woods. Automatic, spiritual instinct. Uh, so when I turned around, since you're talking about threes, right? This is what I seen when I turned around. There was one that was the closest one to me, was very, very tall. I say like 9 foot, 10 foot, probably 11 foot, looking down at me. And he was only like 6 feet away from me by the nearest tree. The reason I could tell it was that tall because I could only see the silhouette, but the eyes were glowing white, like like they saw the hunts, I believe. It was something in the flesh. They're night hunters, so I could see white. Then I seen two other ones beside it, but they were like in I would say intervals of um 10 feet in between each other. So there was three to the right. This is we're talking about threes. And then to the left of the path, there was three more. One low to the ground, looking at me. One that was like in a huddle, like it was going to charge at me. And then there was one in the distance that was standing up. They're all looking at me. I could see the white glowing eyes. I could see their silhouettes. The silhouette looked like what I know as a werewolf. So I'm looking at this things, and the bat that I got is like it would the bat I have is a wooden bat, and I'm looking as to the one that's very close to me, how big it is, and I was like, this bat looks like a toothpick. This bat looks like a toothpick compared to how big these things are, because they were looking down at me. So when that's happening, of course, any human being, right? You start thinking, your mind starts thinking, is like, I can go into the creek 20, 30 feet behind me, jump in the creek, but then the one that's here beside me is going to follow me. It's going to get me before I make it to the creek. Then I said, I can run 50, 60 feet to the left, go hit the highway, but the way those were positioned, they would have tracked me down. If I would have gone to the left. So the only option I had is to go back down the path because any other way, I believe they would have attacked me because, that's just what my spirit was telling me. So I had to follow what my spirit is telling me. My spirit was telling me uh, to go to my love foundation, which is I go to prayer. I threw the bat out of my hand because there's no way I was going to be able to fight six with that little bat. They would have probably laughed at me, because they were that big. Uh, How you doing, Sister Neva's Angel? So I start I start ignoring them. Basically, that's what I did. Even though they were there, I started ignoring them. I stopped looking at them because they were looking down at me. So I'll go into prayer, start saying the Our Father, and man, I said the Our Father numerous times because I'm stuck in that predicament of not knowing if it's something in the flesh or if it's something demonic. Because I was three on one side and three on the other. I go into prayer, I'm praying for a while. Once I felt the presence of the heavenly angels around me because of prayer, that's when I took my first step to go back down the same way I traveled, even though they were right there beside me. As I'm walking, I could see the one beside me looking down at me and turning his head because he's looking at me. And I'm walking in between all of them, and I'm saying to Our Father. Uh, Next thing you know, this was what was freaked about it. When I was saying the Our Father, at first they were laughing. It sounded like they were laughing at first, but then after I continued praying the Our Father, and I kept on feeling the presence of the heavenly angels around me, then they started saying this. They kept on saying, "The Holy One, the Holy One." All of them were saying, "The Holy One, the Holy One." That it was echoing in the woods where they were saying, "The Holy One, the Holy One." And I kept on praying and walked right in between all of them, and they were at the edges of the path looking at me. So I never turned back. I could feel like there was one behind me, but I never turned back. Um, I just kept on praying to Our Father till I got out of the path, and I never turned back because I just felt that, I could feel the heavenly angels protecting me, and I didn't want to look back to see if they were following me or whatever it was, right? So I just kept on praying with no fear. I had to take fear out of the equation. Uh, and I kept on praying all the way till I got home. When I got home, that's when my sister was waiting for me. She could tell something was wrong because I was out there for a while, stuck in them woods with them, with six of them. Anything could have happened, but I believe I handled it properly. Like I said, the bat wouldn't have done nothing against them, but I know one thing. When I said the Our Father, and I call upon uh, praying to the Our Father, to the Heavenly Father to come and assist us spiritually, that worked. And I was able to get out of there safely. I'm thinking if I would have handled it, tried to handle it by fighting them, I probably wouldn't be here. Or if I would have tried to handle them like by running away from them, then most likely I wouldn't be here right now talking to y'all because there would have been a spiritual opening for them to attack. But I know one thing that they acknowledged the Our Father, the prayer of the Our Father, because they kept saying the Holy One, the Holy One. Um, Demons, we're talking about the Legion when the man was possessed. They knew who Jesus Christ was. Uh, they know who he was. Through prayer, this guy, this they were tall, very tall. That they were looking down at me. I was looking up at them. The one that was closest to me, Was very tall, very big. Uh, but I went to where I've been in the military and combat out there in the front line, so they know. They knew what was in my heart that I would have had to done whatever I had to do to to come out of the situation, even if I had to fight, because I had my son waiting for me. Not just my son, I had a lot of people that were counting on me, but I knew because of the time frame, especially when I started acknowledging the Our Father, that I knew at that time that they were demonic in nature, and the Our Father prayer helped me. They were mimicking the voice of a woman crying for help to lure me into the woods. The one that heard it first was my sister B. What's up with Bear? Bear asked something. Well, you're talking about the night vision. It's hard to see them um, with any kind of night vision. Um, Nuclear, like for tanks of night vision, night thermals with different filters, and I would see them down range, but they had no heat signature. So if we had no heat signature, that means that they're not here alive, but that they're in spirit. There was numerous times that when we're doing gunnery that we had a call ceasefire because we were seeing movement downrange where there would be like six shadow figures moving down there, and every time we use the thermals with different filters, we couldn't get a heat signature that it's something that's alive, but we could see them moving down there. So we had to report it to range control. And range control got their own thermals out there, so they've probably seen the same thing we were seeing. Some shadow figures moving down there. So they had to go investigate. And in order for them to investigate, they had to call a ceasefire. We have to clear our ammo, traverse or turret to the rear of the tank. We have to change the camo light from red to green. Then the range control has to go and investigate. So I'm more sure they've seen the shadow figures out there, but it had no heat signature. They still had to go investigate because that's part of the job. Yeah, there's different filters. Um, it's just these demonic entities. Um, they're not going to register um, with a heat signature. Animals register anything that's living. If you laser, we have laser capability that we laser on a target. It'll tell us how far it is. So if we laser on a deer or a cow, a fox, a wolf, it'll it'll have a heat signature. Well, these things didn't register no heat signatures. That's why I knew that there wasn't something that was alive, that it was something in spirit, demonic in nature. Yeah. What do you think? Like some of the shows on TV, I'll help you debunk them. And I wasn't seeing the shows because I already knew what's really out there. What do you think when they use thermals, they never got a heat signature of anything? It's because what they're looking for was not a flesh being. What there was, what they were being lured out there by was not a Bigfoot, was not a dog man or any kind of cryptid. What's out there at nighttime, brothers and sisters? Demons. Why do they have to do the three knocks? Why do they have to do the three knocks? They're doing the three knocks because they're summoning them with the three knocks. So when they summon them in three knocks and the demon appears, then they start hearing activity around them. It's because they summon the demon with the three knocks. But when they do three yells, think about that. Don't let those people deceive you. Is they're when they're doing those things, they're really summoning them, opening up a portal because they're calling them and they come, right? So when they come, yeah, they might hear some activity or something, but doesn't mean that the Bigfoot is in the flesh. Because it was in the flesh, the the night vision we were able to see a heat signature of a Bigfoot or a heat signature of a dog man or any kind of cryptid. I'm just speaking the truth, brothers and sisters. I was in the military 10 years. I spent 9 years in the Cav on Fort Hood. So I did a lot of training in the woods, day and night. I know what's out there. That's why I share these experiences with you. I mean, I literally train in the woods. Yeah. Well, some people they go camping for a day, 2 week, for a couple of days, and they're in their little camps and stuff. I'm out there training, so I run into a lot of things out there. Uh, Never seen a bear in Fort Hood, but I've seen cougars, mountain lions, fox, wolves, coyotes, deers, of course, cows, horses, mules, uh, different kinds of birds, wildcats, rattlesnakes, all kinds of snakes, uh, and lots of shadow figures, lots of shadow figures at nighttime. Very tall shadow figures. Even when I was in the army in Fort Hood, um, there was a range uh, that was in between Trapnell Range and Clabber Creek. It was a mountain range that wasn't allowed to go on the mountain range because it was guarded by MPs. They guarded that location 24 hours. That if you got caught trying to go up to that location, it's an automatic Article 15. Um, the reason nobody could go there is because all the mountain range was native Indian burial ground. So, AKA, that will make sense of the shadow figures that are out there, possible shapeshifter skinwalkers. Well, I'll just say it, shapeshifter skinwalkers that are running out there. Sorry to hear that, Lawrence Morgan. I'm glad that they found her. Yeah, if you got thermals, yeah, you go ahead and use it, especially if you're out there at nighttime. But I'm just letting you know what's out there. And sometimes the thermals can only capture something that's living. They're not going to capture what's in spirit. How you doing, Sister Vanessa? So I just wanted to bring that to light. I see the videos, I see these people that said they're professional, whatever, uh, what they do, that they're professional or they claim to be professionals. I'm just here to tell you, I spent 10 years in the military. I never seen a Bigfoot. I mean, I did see a manifestation of a Bigfoot and a manifestation of the dogman or what people want to call Bigfoots. But just because you've seen it doesn't mean it's real. That's why you put it to a spiritual test. Lots of dark spirits in Central Texas. Many, uh, all throughout Central Texas. I'm talking about Temple area, Killeen, Belton, Copper's Cove, Lampasas, Salado, Fort Hood, and further up, Comanche. Lots of shadow figures or the shapeshifter skinwalkers. I've heard many stories of people running to the shapeshifter skinwalkers. I run into them. So they do exist here in Central Texas. You gotta think about this, that they're in spirit form or in demonic form, right? So they're not really flesh beings. They're just the manifestations of the day. This was important. What I didn't know then, I know now. If you were to see one, you put it to the spiritual test. How you doing, exuberance? You put it to the spiritual test and say, I tie binary rebuke in Jesus Christ's name. If if it disappears and it smells like sulfur or pestilence or even leaves a black goose stain where it was standing, it's already letting you know what you were seeing was not a flesh being. What you're really seeing was something that was a demonic, a manifestation, which is sometimes it can manifest for a couple of seconds. Sometimes it might even be able to hold a manifestation for a whole minute. But when you put it to the spiritual test and it disappears that way, uh, it smells like a puff of smoke. It smells like sulfur. You already know where it's coming from. It's demonic. And we hear this a lot, right? From people that are actual hunters, where they said they're shooting at a Bigfoot or a dog man, and that they're professionals, but there's no bodies. It's because they're shooting at something that's in spirit form. The only way you can fight them is through Jesus Christ, brothers and sisters. No, no, no problem, brother Rich. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, the animals. There's always animals out there, man. They're always they know your scent. Especially when I was in the army, you're training out there. They know when you're when a group of people, and they know when you're by yourself. That's when they like to attack. They always follow the prey. That's what they do. They follow the meal. I'll share a story with you. I was pulling. We're gonna pull guarding the tanks out there. It was a Friday night. I told that I told the people that I didn't need uh the privates to send them back to the rear. That I had it for that evening, till I got relieved in the morning. So they all left. I stayed out there by myself. So I'm putting guard underneath some trees. Our tanks are parked underneath the trees, and it's like around 10:30. It's around 10:30, right? I'm sitting inside my tank, putting radio watch, and next thing you know, I just hear stuff on top of the trees where the branches are breaking. There's leaves flying everywhere. So I hit it with a flashlight to see what's going on in the trees, and I see these two big cats, cougars, fighting each other. So I'm sitting in the tank. I'm seeing them like jumping from branch to branch, and I'm like, what? I wonder what they're fighting for. Well, a little light bulb turned up. I said, "Were you here by yourself? They're fighting for you." So I ducked down, closed the hatch, locked it up, stayed inside the tank for the rest of the night because they were literally fighting for me because they see me as a meal. They probably said, "We're going to have Mexican tonight." They were big. Yeah, I've never found a skeleton or anything like that of a Bigfoot or uh, anything out of the ordinary like that. And I've been everywhere. I've trained in the desert. Uh, I was in Germany in the woods over there, and the woods over there are big. They're dense. Never find no evidence, not even a baby Bigfoot running around by itself, or but the only thing that I will find out in Germany is something that they have a lot is I was always running into wild boars, and the boars are huge. The wild boars have tusks, and they're big as cows. That's how big they are in Germany. Uh, the wild boar is one of the number one sources of food in Germany. I don't know if y'all got an HEB where y'all come from, but if you go look at the deli, they sell a lot of boar with all kinds of seasoning and stuff. But yeah, I ran into wild boars in Germany. Numerous incidents with wild boars, and there'll be a lot of them because they'll be running in a pack. So if you see little ones running around, be careful because the mother is always around and they'll charge you. They'll come after you. I had to spend one day on top of my deuce and a half because they're running around my deuce and a half. Like they wanted to attack me. They wanted to gore me. So I stayed on top of the deuce and a half for the rest of the night up in Germany. I was guarding an ammo point. It had nothing but ammunition. I seen two little boars crossing through the fence from the woods. And then that's when the big mother one came out of nowhere and started trying to attack me. Was trying to gore me. I was 19, so I was more agile. Jumped on top of the deuce real quick. So they just kept on running in circles around the deuce. I stayed on the deuce for the rest of the how should I say shift. Yeah, they're huge, man. Yes, I've eaten wild boar before in Germany. Yeah. Oh yeah. You should see one. That's one thing about the wild boar. At nighttime, their eyes are color red, so you're going to be able to see a red glare looking at you. I know. Let me have some water real quick. I was in Homefields, Germany. Uh, I was on the M1 Abrams because we were playing the enemy, so we had to uh, be on an M60. We were on an M60. I was a driver, and I had to go use the restroom. It was freezing. The ground was ice, so I had to take my shovel and dig a hole, you know, to find my spot where I was going to handle business. So I had already dug the hole. I brought down my Nomex. I was squatting. So when I was squatting to handle my business, from behind in the woods, I just hear something making a weird noise. Like that's what I hear. I hear. So I'm hearing that noise. I turn around like this. The only thing I could see was red eyes coming at me. It was moving fast. I didn't handle my business. I just ran towards the tank and I jumped up. You know, when something scares the hell out of you, you get that adrenaline rush. I jumped on the back of the deck. Michael Jordan didn't have nothing on me. I jumped on the back of the deck of the M60, and when I jumped on the back deck, I almost slipped because it was ice. All I know is the wild boar was so big that the back was over the back deck. That's how big it was. It was huge. It was trying to gore me. So yeah, I never got a. After that, if I handle business, it would be from on top of the tank, especially in Germany. I've seen all kinds of animals in the wilderness. Uh, I was 135 armor, then I was in a cav. We spent most of the 10 months out of the year training in the field. A lot of field problems, whether it was on Fort Hood, California, and Fort Irwin, or we were training in Mississippi. I never ran into what I could say a Bigfoot or found a skeletal remains of a Bigfoot. But the only thing that I did see, well, I've seen one that looked like a Bigfoot. I've seen something that looked like a dog man. But just because you've seen something doesn't mean it's real. That's the kicker. I believe that they manifest that way for the belief factor. So once you're believing in what you're seeing, then boom, it's going to disappear. But then it can attack you unseen, visibly. Yeah. And wild boars are vicious, man. They'll come at you in a pack. The wild boars, the cougars here in Texas, mountain lions, whatever you want to call them, when they kill a prey, like I seen one that they killed a deer and they took the deer up the tree and had the deer on top of the tree. They take their meal up to the tree so the other critters won't be able to, or any other animal like the coyote or any other animals be able to eat that meal. So they take it up to the tree. When people say, "Oh, a Bigfoot took a placed a deer on top of the tree," cougars, mountain lions can do that. And we've heard a lot of stories of people being dragged up to hills and up on top of trees. Well, mountain lions, cougars. That's what they do. They take the meal to a higher ground where nobody can reach it. Only they can reach it and they can eat it. Um, I had an incident of a Bigfoot. I was pulling regarding the towers. You know, sometimes in the military, there's details. You know, details is a job where you get volunteered to do the details. You know, your battalion. So our detail for that month was to guard the ranges. We were in charge of all the towers of Fort Hood, all the main towers where people go train. Our battalion was in charge of that. So I was in charge of one of the towers, which was Clabber Creek Tower. You know, guarding that tower, and we had other people in other towers, so soldiers from my company that were everybody was guarding a tower. Um, we're doing radio watches, radio checks with the main range control person, which was a civilian. You got to do radio checks every hour of the hour. If you don't do a radio check on the hour, then you get in trouble. That they can close the range down if you don't answer to them. So next thing you know, after we did the radio checks, we hear one of our soldiers calling us from Trapnell, saying that he's being attacked by something, and he's being attacked by something, and he sounds scared as hell, and it's just yes, in a moment, brother Joe, he was scared as hell, and he's saying that he's being attacked by something, you know, something is attacking the tower. So we all get. I live one of the privates in charge of the tower, and I got in the Humvee because we don't have no live ammo. We're on the range, so I grabbed a pick handle, got in the Humvee, and I took off, you know, to the other range, which was a pretty good distance, probably like I would say like a 10-minute drive, but I was going as fast as the Humvee will go. I get there, this NCO's there. It's like everybody from the towers get there. So it's like five or six of us. So when we get there, we do smell like a beastly smell of some sort, but we're thinking it's just the outdoor latrine that was near the tower. So we climbed the tower all the way to the top. The NCO that was there had the door barricaded with everything inside from that room. He was, had it barricaded where the door was blocked, and the dude was scared as hell. You know, it was smoking, and the NCO told him, "Hey, get that shit off the, unblock the door, let us in." And he let us in, and the guy's just trembling, and you could tell he was scared, and he was smoking a cigarette, like finish a cigarette, light him up, light another one, like back to back to back to back. You could tell that he seen something. So the sergeant first class told him what's going on. He said that he was going towards the restroom, the outdoor latrine, to go use it, and he said, "I seen it." I said, and we're like, "What did you see?" He said, "Sasquatch." He said, "Sasquatch was looking at me. Uh, I seen him, and I took a running up the tower. When I was running up the tower, he came running after me." He said that's why he barricaded the door, and he said that he was banging on the banging on the tower, and then he said that the tower was moving a little bit because it was banging it so hard. But you could tell that he was scared shitless, that he did experience something. So the sergeant first class in charge of the detail said, "Hey, I can't have you out here being like this. You know, I'm just going to send you back to the rear. We're going to get a replacement for you." So they sent him back to the rear. I got him on my friends list, but I don't know if you'll even speak about it or what he witnessed out there because he was scared of what he seen. But like I said before, just because you see something doesn't mean that it's real. He was scared, so being scared, that's a spiritual opening, fear factor. Uh, there was an incident where I used to work for S3 that I was working up in one of those ranges right across the one that I told you was a native Indian burial ground. I was set up on the opposite side. Up there, I was driving a 577. It's a PC. We set up a talk up there for S3 is a center of operations. So I was working for them for about a year doing this job. I remember I had to change the fuel up the generator with gas because the talk worked with the generator. So I went outside and it was raining. I had my weather gear on and my Kevlar. So as I'm trying to fill out the generator with gas, rocks are being thrown at me. They're landing all around me. One of them hits my Kevlar and it bounces off my Kevlar. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I'm trying to dodge these rocks that are being thrown at me. So I get to, at first I thought it was hail that was dropping on me, but then I seen the rocks. It was big rocks being chunked at me they were being chunked at me from behind a bush. Something was throwing them at me, trying to hit me with them. So I filled it up real fast, and I was like, it was dark, pitch dark out there, and I go back inside the talk, and I'm thinking it's my NCO messing with me, but it's raining real hard outside. I go in there and I'm pissed off, and I said, "Hey, why are you messing with me, throwing rocks at me?" He looks at me. He's got a cup of coffee in his hand. I said, "What are you talking about?" He didn't even have no weather gear. He's dry. So I know it wasn't him that was out there doing that to me. Uh, that something was throwing rocks. What was it? Was it a Bigfoot? Was it a shapeshifter skinwalker? Was it something demonic? All I know, it hit me on my Cavalier. See you later, brother Rich. True story. It happened to me on Forward. Oh yeah, any kind of detail. I was in a fire detail when the range caught on fire. I was out there with a shovel digging trenches so the fire would spread. I've done lumberjack detail. They had me cutting all kinds of trees out there because some woman almost got raped. So they put a detail to cut all like a whole section where there was nothing but woods. That's the detail. I was on detail for about 2 weeks. I was running into all kinds of critters. We got attacked by a skunk. The skunk peed one of the skunk got one of the soldiers. Hey, so who's the guy that wanted to share a story? Somebody wanted to share a story. If you're here, let me know and I'll send you the link. I was pulling a CQ one day. I was sitting outside on the chair and a skunk passed right over my feet. I was like motionless, didn't want to move. Passed right over my feet, and it didn't hit me with anything, but it went right over my feet while I was pulling CQ. I think if I would have moved or blinked, it would have sprayed me. Okay, I don't eat swine or anything that's not biblical. I eat fish with the skills and things that don't chew that could split a hoof. Or Joe Two Pops. You want me to send you a link? I'll send you a link if you want to join Joe Two Pops. I'm gonna place it right here. There you go. There's a link, Joe Two Pops. You want to jump in so you can share your story of the den of bones that you found. Sister Madeline is Sister Madeline's birthday. Party all the time. Party all the time. Oh, okay. Maybe one day when you're not at work, you can share. Somebody said they can eat pork. It's against their religion. Anybody got any questions? Uh, ask me a question. I'll answer. The big 3-0. Sir, I already celebrated a little bit for Sister Madeline. Me and my wife went out dancing last night on her birthday. Here's a link, brother Joel. You want to talk? There you go. Here's a link. A question here. No, I never heard of any elite team of military guys focus on cricket only. I never heard of none, and I never seen none. Oh, I didn't know, Sister Madeline. If I knew it was your birthday, I would invite you. Somebody was asking a question here. Okay, that's Joel Burgess. What's up, brother Joel?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, brother.
How you doing, bro? Um,
Yep, doing good.
I've not long since just got up. I'm over here in the UK, and I hope everyone's as well. I've seen a bit of news last night. Uh, some major hurricane or something's ripped through Florida and Texas, and I saying. So I hope everybody's okay and well and safe. But yeah, I've got an encounter. Um, well, several encounters actually. Which is I'm obviously in the UK. I'm ex-military like yourself as well, here, mate. I used to be in Royal Logistics, drop truck driver, a bullet magnet. That was his nickname. But yeah, I've had. It started right. I'll go from how it all started off. It was 2nd of June last year, and my my wife and kids were visiting my mother-in-law, my grandma, and that, and they were stopping over there, and I was home alone. And maybe me, I get a bit bored easily. So I thought, well, what shall I do? Sod it. I'll get geared up and I'll go do some wild camping up at a place called Dane's Dyke, and it's on east coast of Yorkshire in the UK. And there's lots and lots of reports of strange phenomenons that go up around the area on this part of the East Yorkshire coast, spanning from a little fishing village called Bridlington, and then goes round a peninsula that's called Flamborough, where lighthouse. There's a lighthouse. Cliffs get up to between 200 and 400 foot above sea level because I'm at North Sea. So it's like what, maybe 220 mile east from beach to Amsterdam or Holland or something like that. So that gives you an idea. It's obviously America and everything's massive. It's enormous. Um, So anyway, I sets off, and I'm on my own and that. Not think. All I wanted to do was just go out camping for a bit. I wasn't thinking about anything to do with what I encountered or anything. And it gets to. I've got my camp going. I've got my fire going, and that. All I got were a bash. What we call a bash. It's just a sheet in it. You know what I mean? You can use it as a stretcher if you need to, and that. So I've got my bash set up. I've got my fire going. I've got a cup of tea going. Um, and I'm chilled out, just listening to a bit of something on YouTube and all this sort of. It we're getting to about, I'd say, 2:30 a.m. And it all went quiet because it was sea went rough. You could hear waves lapping. You know what I mean? So I'm like nearly 400 foot, at least 200 foot above sea level. And I mean, it's called Dane's Dyke. It's got ancient burial grounds on it, going back to Bronze Age and Neolithic and things like that. There's a lot of stuff goes off up there, and that. I have actually been on Josh's show and Josh Turner's and that, and spoke about this, but maybe me, I'm still, I keep going up there, I keep going up there, and I keep looking and I keep investigating and that, because there's been reports of and I'm going off at track a bit here. Big cats, like panthers, there's big cats up there knocking about. And there's something I've found, and it's not just in UK. A lot of stories and things that I'm listening to and that, and people's other encounters, they all seem to be round near a golf course with woodlands and these strange encounters with, I mean, I don't know, the dogmen, werewolves, shape. I believe what it is what my experience, what I encountered is it's witchcraft. It's something to do with witchcraft. Because the first encounter, what I'm relating to now is that night. Anyway, it all went quiet, as you usually hear people say. It just went dead. But, blackbirds chirping away and things. This is like 2:30 in the morning, and I thought, bloody deer or something festering about. So I had these noises and all that. So not getting too spooked out at this time, and I'm like, yeah, it'll just be some deer or foxes or badgers or something like that. Because there's a lot of deer and badgers and foxes and rabbits and all that kind of stuff up there. So I've carried on doing what I'm doing. I'm drinking my tea, and I just didn't feel. I started hearing this crashing and banging back of me and that. Because where I was, it's actually. I'll have to send you some pictures and that. Hey mate, and I've got loads of videos, pictures, and things and stuff. But because it's a national, it's like what would you call it, a national park or something like that. It's a national park thing. So there's like signs and that, and it's got pictures and there's writing on it, and it tells you about this and it tells you about that, and this is that and that's this, and so it's quite a historical place, and that it's a national park thing, a forest and that, and but there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it, but I'm just trying to break it in easy as I can, because I mean it'd probably take me hours and that to tell you it all. So I'm just trying to cut it down into the shortest I can. But obviously we can do something else another time. Um, Now I'm in touch with you on Messenger and that, I can send you a lot more information and stuff like that. Because I don't know if you know a guy who's called Paul Sinclair, and he's a good friend of mine. He lives up there, and he's got a channel called Truth Proof, and
I think I've heard of
it's
his name, Paul Sinclair.
yeah. Josh knows him, because it was him I contacted, because it was weird. I was watching one of his videos on YouTube, and I thought, bloody hell, that's what happened to me. well, it actually my missus, my wife, and that she emailed him and says, "Hey, look, my husband and that he went out wild camping and something more or less similar, same or whatever happened to him and that." And he's like, "Oh, well, can get in touch." So I met up and all that, but that's further into the story sort of thing. But what it is I was up there, so I think it's pitch black as well and that. I'm ex-army. I had got torches on me, but I was reluctant to use them because obviously A, it gives you away, and B, it takes 10 minutes in for your house to just back to dark, innit? You know what I mean? You understand, bro? So, you only use it if you need to. But I got my compass with me, and my army compass and that. But I'd done my own work previous day, went up through the day, mapped it all out, took my coordinates and that on my compass, so I knew what I was doing when I was fumbling my back through the dark and that. And I got my firewood together through the day and made a stash pile, so I got my firewood to go through the night, you know what I mean, to keep warm. Because it can get quite cold up there on the top of cliffs and that. And
Somebody said asked a question. What kind of big cats live in your area, Joel? Do they have a lot
well,
of witchcraft
the
issues in the UK?
yeah, well, there's reports all over the UK. They're like, well, the way I can describe them is like a panther. They're bigger than a Labrador, um, and maybe on part of size of a deer or something like that. You know what I mean? But it's hard to say because we're getting these sightings on them, and people are getting sightings on them. But they're that elucid, before you know it, they're gone. They've not actually been attacking anyone, but we're finding deer that's been
Eating.
attacked, and badgers and foxes, you know, and they seem to be, like I said, operating between Dane's Dyke, which is the woodland, the forest in that, and then the golf course that's on its side. The side, I mean, it's massive golf course. It's huge, and the amount of rabbits and deers and things that are running around there, so it's ideal for a minute. And then they can obviously refuge in woodlands and things like that. I've been trying to find. I think I sent you some pictures actually, some
Yeah,
paw
I was
print.
seeing the pictures. Yes.
And I mean, I'm 6 foot. I'm quite a big guy in that. I've got big hands in that, and I put a picture, and that paw print's nearly as big as my hand. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, I seen
I think I sent another one, and you can distinctly tell the difference between a dog print because cats' paw prints are more bigger and rounder. The paw pads and that. And claws want showing like they do on dog prints because they can retract the claws. You see. So
yes.
yeah, I've been spending quite a lot of time tracking big cats down, and I've been helping Paul out doing some research on it because there's been hell of a lot of sightings over this last 3 months, I'd say. Hell of a lot of sightings. So there's obviously there's not just one in area. There must be several. You know what I mean? Well, yeah, anyway, going back to what I was on about, I hear some crashing and bashing and that, and as usual, air stands up on back at edge, on neck and that, and I start feeling a bit edgy. I just thought I need to pack up and go and that, so I knocked all my bash down quick. I put my fire out because then obviously always carry water, make sure you put your fires out and things like that, so you're not damaging forest and things. You know what I mean? Causing problems and that. Hide your tracks and stuff. Eh? So I sets off tracking through woods and that. And I mean, this isn't pitch black. You know what I mean? I've got my torch if I need it, but I trundles through. I did get off beat a bit, but I've got back on my bearings. But all the time I was going through woods and that, I just knew there was some pacing me, maybe 60 foot to 80 foot behind me. There was something, tracking me, pacing me. I don't know what the hell it was, but it was fairly quiet. And all I could hear was just branches breaking here and there and everywhere because I've been back up. Like, I went back up 2 days later because I'm never going again. And that, you know what I mean? It proper scared me, mate. It proper scared me. And it takes a lot to scare me. So I managed to get back. I've got, I'm in my van. I've got my camper van. And there's like a main car park where there's toilet facilities and an ice cream bar and that obviously shut. They're only open through day and that. And because people go and park there and that, there's a picnic area and stuff like that. So I managed to get back to the van and I got my webbing on. So and I got my big Bergen and that, Army British Army issue gear and all that. I got all my Army issue gear with me and that. And I'm taking it off and I took my Bergen it back at van light and as I'm taking my webbing off, I felt this like it's hard to explain it. It's like somebody were pushing me down on my left shoulder. I felt like touch me. It'd be like push my shoulder, and then I felt this breath of air come past my ear, and it went, "Come over here." And I'll tell you what, mate, I fucking shit myself. I fucking jumped in my van. I kicked fucking door shut, and I was sat here. I got my fucking machete in one hand, and I got my fucking bowie knife in the other hand. So we're not allowed guns and that in the UK and that as much as you can in America. And I fucking sat here for about 10 minutes. Sorry, I'm swearing, like, but it freaked me out that much. It's it's blown my mind. Still to this day now, and that it's like I'm baffled. I'm baffled with it. So I got in touch with Paul Sinclair. This is how that all come about then, because he put his video on about it. He called it a magnetic pull in Dane's Dyke, and how he described it. But it with his right shoulder, and I thought, bloody hell, that's same as similar, to what I experienced, because I'm thinking, what the heck? Because I didn't see anything, you know what I mean? But I felt something there, and I heard a voice, but I couldn't see anything. So, it really freaked me out, and it really, really scared me, like. So, what happened then is I went back up to Dane's Dyke a couple of days later, and I had a look around, and I got some photos, and branches were, it's just kind of snapped and that and things. Whether it's to do with that, I don't know. But I photographed it, took it. I shared it with Paul. I can share it with you. I've shared some with Josh. I'm not bothered about sharing, my experiences with people and that, because you never know, it might help other people and that, with their experiences, or if they have an experience or encounter with something, what I mean. But anyway, I get in touch with Paul, and Paul and Les comes and meets me at Dane's Day to film me for Wolflands too, because there's a Wolflands video you can hire or buy it off of Amazon Prime, I believe, or something like that. It's really good. Like, took him about 3 years to produce it, but it's called Wolflands. It's rather good. Like, it's really good. And so he come up and film me, and I leave my wife and my twin daughters in. There's like another car park, but it's like a grass field. It was a beautiful red hot day, absolutely beautiful day, and it was actually 10th of July. So first encounter at 2nd of June, and then it was 10th of July because my wife's birthday is on 11th of July. Because I asked Paul, I said, what day when we met up? He said, yeah. Well, while I was out with Paul and Les doing some filming for Wolflands 2 and that, what he's on with, he's making a Wolflands 2. I've probably let cat out of the bag there a bit, but it don't matter. But yeah, I comes back. We've been probably about an hour or something, me, Paul and Les. Comes back, and our last sister and kids and that, she says, there's a woman in Edges here with a black robe on doing something and that. I went, what do you mean? What do you mean there's a woman in bushes with a robe on and that? She went, come and have a look, come and have a look. So they text me over, my wife and kids and that. And there's this woman on her knees with this black robe on, and she's got a tent at back in her, and got candles round her, and she was burning stick things or something, like scent sticks or something like that. And she got these feathers and stones and that. And I don't know if you watched it. I sent you a video from Abe and that, where I
No,
went up and and I did an offering and that because a guy called Reverend is a friend of Paul's, is from the UK, and he says, "Well, you know," he says, "I think you're onto something, Joel, because obviously I've been investigating it, working with Paul Sinclair and all that." He says, "I think you're onto it." He says, "I think yeah, it's something to do with this and that other and blah blah blah." Now, what I don't know if you've heard of it, right? But she's have a look into it, y'all, and that, right? She's called Ceridwen, right? And she's a Welsh lunar shape shifting deity.
Wow.
She originally come from a lake. There's her and Aaron, right? Aaron, he comes and collects your soul. She's the keeper of the cauldron in the forest, and she can shape shift into dogs and cats and owls and birds. You name it. She can even shape shift into a grain of
Luna,
corn.
Luna. I think I've heard of
Yeah, Ceridwen. It's
Luna.
she's Welsh. It's Welsh. Um,
Mhm.
a Welsh. She's like she rules the new moon or something like that. She's the lunar deity goddess and that. Have a look
Yeah,
into it. Oh,
Luna in Spanish means moon.
yeah, moon. Yeah.
Yes,
So yeah,
I've heard of. It's kind of like
I think
a
it was
Fukui
somebody
Koko.
worshipping her. Maybe I don't know. You know what I mean? Or maybe it's somebody worshipping her. But like as of it, what it is, it's these feathers, right? Because the cliffs, at the coast where I live at Bridlington and that. A chalk and that. There's a lot of what is it, quartz in it and stuff like that. You've got your dikes, you've got your. I mean, I think you call them creeks in America and things like that and stuff like that. You've got your perfect setting for it all. But them cliffs are connected to cliffs of Dover, which is south UK. You know, there's quite a fair distance. Obviously, UK is not a massive place, but you know, to us, it's you know, if I were to drive from where I am to Dover, it'd take me 6 hours or something like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's a lot of like I sent you some pictures of like people. I don't know who's doing it, but they're like stacking bloody rocks up in that on beach and that white chalk pebbles. Well, under this tree there was these chalk pebbles because this is what I'm trying to find out. A few people have said it could be this, it could be that, but I still it the rock bottom truth of it, or what it actually is, or what it means, and that. Some people have said it's like something to do with like Navajo or something like that, but we haven't got Navajo uh, Indians in UK and that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. You know what I mean? But it's something spiritual that they're doing, and because these feathers that were under the tree, they're like placed. If you can imagine it, it's a stone with an hole in it, and they put a feather through it, and then they put them under the tree. Well, these feathers are still there to this day under the tree, but yeah,
Wow.
it was 29th of December, wasn't it, Joe? This is my wife's here now. I goes to the shop, and where we live, there's like, if you can imagine, there's like a little an alleyway in it. It's like you walk through, so you can cut through houses and get to the top road where fish and chip shop is and shop. And I went to the shop, so it's like going up New Year's Eve, wasn't it? Or something like that. And I gets back, and I just stopped in my track. I went, "Oh God." And I'm like, "Oh, shit, where's that come from?" And at top of the step to come, obviously I had to go past it to get back home. There were this, it right is, it's like, if you can imagine it, there's bricks soldiered together and they were like a bit of a gap in cement and feather in stone were poked in it. So I even spoke to Paul about it. I says, "Here, Paul." I says, "You'll not believe this." I says, "I've been to the shop and I've only just found one of them bloody feathers in a stone at top of the thing." He went, "Well, who do you think has done that?" I said, "Well, I don't know." I says, "There's only you that knows about it." And now I said that. I says, "You know what I mean? She ain't done it." He says, "Well, if it were up at Dane's Dyke, I could have, I could have understand it." He says, "But I don't know, mate." He says, "It's weird that." And then after that, everything started going wrong for us, hasn't it? Lights switching on and off. Yeah, lights coming on and off in the kitchen. it went switches off. You know what I mean? It's impossible for light to come on and off when it's switched off. It was impossible. You know what I mean? Crazy things happening, stuff moving about. You know, looking for this, and then next thing it appears somewhere else, and that. You know, proper weird things going off on it. You know, and and what it is this witch that were in trees. It was you that found them, wasn't it? Kids and that. And there was a little lad, wasn't there, walking about with a feather or something.
His mum and dad and his sister.
Because she appeared from nowhere. She'd got no shoes on, this woman, didn't she? And
Yeah.
really weird, really weird in that.
Somebody had asked if they were like druid like. Do they wear like the hoods and stuff like that?
Yeah. Yeah, they looked a bit, yeah, like a monk or something, wasn't it? Like
Yeah,
thing,
like a
druid
monk
thing.
like robe, druid.
Yeah. They were on the knees and that in front of the tree. That tree there, because there's a stone with hole in placed inside the tree, isn't there? And that.
Yeah.
Weird, wasn't it? Weird. Well, since I've been back there a few times and that, and when I've done them videos and that, I took my multimeter and that is compliment to NATO, our friend NATO. It's a military multimeter, that one. It does up to about 3,000 volts or something like that. It'll find anything. But I'll get EMFs and that up there a lot. I've been all over the place probing about and that and getting EMFs and this and that over.
I believe you the Dreyer one because I've seen them. Seen their. I think they're all dealing with the same, but they're kind of like what do you call them? Like they can drain your energy or suck your
Yeah.
soul when you're asleep,
Well,
like a succubus or incubus. They have many
hitchhiker.
abilities. Yeah,
Remember that day when
they
we were doing that?
drain your soul while you sleep.
That's how I feel. You know what I mean? Because it's affecting us all. It's affected me and you, hasn't it?
Oh, that tree went out, Lily climbed, and you were
Yeah, that tree.
and with them lads were as well.
Yeah, well, apparently I didn't know of that. This tree where kids were playing and that, where I've been wild camping. Apparently, back in '80s, Paul, because we met Paul, didn't we, up there and that?
She climbed tree and she
Because
said, I can't get
were
down.
doing some EMF tests with me too, and Paul were with me and that. And I says, yeah, well, we met up and that and did a bit of filming and that and a mulch about. So we were looking at some deers what we'd found that had been mutilated and that, and
we didn't know about
foxes.
this tree, did we?
Yeah, we didn't know about it at the time.
Climbed.
Well, we had been camping. Apparently, there were 3 guys that went camping, wild camping, like they weren't from area. This is back in, I think it was about '83 or something, wasn't it? 1983 or something. He said,
80s,
yeah, '80s. There was a massive manhunt for them for about 2 weeks because they went missing. But all the tent and gear, they got it set up under this tree near where I was camping, wasn't it?
That's where our little climbed up.
And all the gear and everything were there. But and tents was hitched up. There was no sign of them, either. And it went on for about 2 weeks. Anyway, about 2 weeks later, they found 2 men. I think it was about 5 mile further up coast, wasn't it?
Yeah.
At bottom of cliffs, naked. But when they did post mortem, there were no bruises or foul play or evidence of any of that. They just were there at bottom of cliffs, naked. You know what I mean? Dead. Found them dead.
Wow.
And then I think another 3 mile further up road, they found the third guy exactly the same. When they did all post mortem and everything, still to this day they do not know how they ended up at bottom of cliffs, dead
So
without
how
any
many how
injuries.
many how many were there that they found?
Three bodies altogether. There's a lot of strange things that happen up there, isn't there, Julie? Yeah, they were camping under that tree, but they actually found them 5 and 8 mile further up coastline from where they were actually staying. But all the gear was still in the tent with tent zipped up, as if no, it never happened and that. You know what I mean? So that's another strange thing.
That's crazy.
But Paul, he's looking into a lot. We're getting like strange lights in sea and things, and a lot of UFO activity and stuff like that. There's a lot of military activity goes off up there, and I think it was back in 1973. I think about 15 mile off the coast of Benton Cliffs, where there's an old RAF base that goes underground about 200 foot. There's there's loads of crazy stories in that.
And it's a big
There were a lot of
thing in it.
witchcraft thing going off in there. I don't know if I can. I'm going to try and find him and I'll post him to you. I think he was called Wayne, wasn't he? And this is how I got to meet Paul to start off with. Me and my mate were up there. We've been kayaking, and my mate had bought a drone when they first come out. It's a few years back. This about 8 years, 9 years ago, something like that. Paul comes up, approaches us, says, "Hey, do you fancy doing a bit of footage with drone for me?" And that, I'm like, yeah, no problem, mate. So we exchanged phone numbers, did a bit of this and that. That's how I got to know him. And then he put us onto this other guy called Wayne. I'm sure it was Wayne, wasn't it? Wayne. And you can't get in now. If you go anywhere near it, it's got electric fence around it and anything and that. But as soon as you go over that fence, and this isn't middle of nowhere, mate, all of a sudden some military dude will pop up out of nowhere, or police or something, and arrest you. You know what I mean? You're not allowed there anymore whatsoever. Because if I can find video and that, there's some weird shit and that. There's like devils and things painted on wall, and
The
they
hell?
found all these these rope things like you're on about. They found all these ropes and pentagons and all sorts of crap and blood and stuff, and they were doing some crazy shit or whatever up there. But we don't know whether, like Paul, is there a portal up there or something like that? Because apparently a lot of fishermen and that. I mean, I've been out on boats, out on sea doing quite lobster fishing and that with my mate and that. It's a bit of a scary job, like, but it pays well. It's just not nice when sea's rough. That's all. And it does get rough, believe me. But yeah, it, this area, I think it was 1973, and it was an RAF jet. It was out on a training exercise, and it ended up crashing in North Sea, about 15 mile off at cliffs of Bempton and Flamborough and Danes Dyke, where I go and that. So the sent Navy went out, sent some divers down. I think you're about 200 foot down, something like that, at bottom at sea where plane was. But when they got down to recover it, cockpit was still shut, seat belts were fastened, but there were no pilot in it, and they've still never found pilot to this day.
Wow.
And then back in, I think it was in the 90s, another RAF training exercise were going off, and I think it was an RAF Tornado that went down in same, more or less same place. Sent diving team down, cockpit was shut, seatbelts fastened, no pilot. Still not been found to this day. Because obviously they had to retrieve planes and that, you know what I mean? So obviously it's military equipment, isn't it? You know what I mean? But yeah, a lot of strange things. But yeah, going back to that witch, I believe she was a witch or practicing witchcraft or something like that. And she looked at us.
So, this was her name was Luna.
Her name's Keredwin. I think spelled
Oh,
C. How's it spelled now? CERD Dwen. It's Welsh. Either say it's Dwen, Keredwen, and Awen, or something like that. It is apparently what I've looked into the story. It's a good story actually. Whether it's it fits the bill. Um, if you worship her, she can help you, but if you displease her, she'll take your soul and that. And she sends Owen, and I mean, to me, it sounds like they sound like dogmen or something that he wields and that. You know what I mean? So he sends his hounds to get you to take your soul, and if you displease her and that, have a look into it. She's the keeper of the forest and the cauldron, and she can do spells and things like that, and she can shapeshift into pretty much anything she wants, even a grain of corn. It's quite an
Wow.
interesting story. It's a wealth myth, but apparently they came as giants from a lake in Ireland, UK, in Northern Ireland somewhere, or Giant's Causeway or something like that in Ireland. And the Irish drove them out because they were afraid of them or something like that. So they took refuge in Wales, and I think I forgot the name of him, but he was a king or something like that. And he gave them passage to stay in Wales and that. You know what I mean? And have a look into it, man. Have a look into it. It's quite interesting. It's, whether it is to do with that or it isn't, I don't know exactly, but it's the closest I've got to what I've experienced with seeing
Yeah,
this
I've
person.
seen a lot of that activity around this area like that, man. Just jewelry-like things covering their face, uh, walking in the woods, some kind of somebody that's probably worship something, or maybe they've
Yeah,
died in their in spirit form.
they were definitely worshiping or doing. They were definitely doing some of it. I mean, obviously they've got candles going. I'll have to find my book out, and I've done I do a bit of artwork and stuff like that. So I've drawn, like, I tried to illustrate it best I can, because that particular day, because I'd been with Paul, and they're going, quick, quick, go and have a look, Dad, and that, me and my kids and that, and missus and that. And I'm like, so like, we were peeping through bushes and that, and she looked at us, and her face looked right distorted. And I says, come on, leave it alone and that, come on, because obviously she was a female, from what I could gather. And I says, come on, leave it alone and that. Don't be interfering in that. I was leaving it, you know what I mean? Come on and that. But as soon as I was saying that, I didn't feel, I felt that same kind of feeling that I felt the first encounter where I just didn't feel right, you know what I mean? And then I felt that touch on my shoulder and that. So I don't know whether that, I think, yeah, I personally believe these are all, it's all linked in on a cycle. Well, anyway, that happened, and I went back up because my kids were like, please don't go back to Dane's Dyke, Daddy, and that. We don't like it. It's scary up there and that. I went, it's all right. Don't worry about it and that. So I goes back up, went camping again, and I went on to. I was talking to a friend of mine in Montreal in Canada, Margaret. She's a lovely lady, and a good friend of mine who lives in Birmingham, which is down south from me. My mate Pete and that, we were all on Messenger having a video call, eh? And I went at the back of my camper van in main car park. I was just getting all my stuff together, and I was acting about, and I goes, there, uh, you know, I think there's a skinwalker knocking about and that. Because I can describe it as I'm sat it. I've got like a seat and desk and things in back, my camper van and then bed and all that, and then I've got my cab. But I'm sat in like middle of my camper van on my seats with my table is and all that. But I can see through cab, and I seen this thing shoot past like a smoky black thing. But it would like when you get say a glow stick and you move it really fast and you get a trail, don't you? It was like that, as if it had a trail coming off it. And I thought, the fucking hell's that? So I started getting a bit nervy, and I says to my mate Pete and Margaret, yeah, there's something festering about my van here and that. I says, just tell Julie and that, just in case something happens. You know what I mean? That I've blah blah blah. I've seen something and that I've spoke to that again about I'm going to go out and I'm going to investigate and that. You know what I mean? But just tell her, you've spoke to me. And if all happens, you know where my last place was, where I was. So I gets off home, gets all my gear on, puts my machete in my pocket, gets my bowie knife, got my walking stick, gets out of the van. As soon as I gets out of the van, the camper van that is, I can describe it. It's like it's one way in and one way out, but you've got to get to car park where I was. You both, it's both direction, you know what I mean? But then it splits, like you can't go that way. You've got to go that way to get out. You can only come that way in, sort of thing. I'll send you some videos on that, and you'll see. So I go driving around and all that. So anyway, I get out at van and as I mooch about, and straight away I see some like in tree line at back of me where these are like it's like an embankment where ancient burial grounds are that go all the way along that. So you know, fuck this. I thought I'll get back in the van out at the road. So I get back in the van and I'm thinking, oh, you know, what do I do? What do I do? So I thought I better phone my wife and that. So I phones my wife and that on Messenger, and I've got my eldest daughter on the phone on Messenger, you know, video calling and that. My wife and then me and they're going, and I says, there's something creeping around my van here and that, and I kept hearing like tapping, you know, inside the van and things like that. Because when I got back, there were a big question mark scratched inside of my van. And they're freaking out. They're going, look, just get your son home, Dad, and that. You know what I mean? I goes, I can't. Fucking van won't start. And I was stuck there for 3.5 hours. My van won't start, and all of a sudden it started. I managed to get it started because what I did was I didn't get out of the van, so I crawled over the seats from back into the cab and managed to get it started up after 3.5 hours. I don't know why. You know what I mean? Normally, you know what I mean? It's just weird. I'm still on video messaging. I've got my phone on dash and that, so you can see me driving and that, and it's it's pitch black and that, and I've got headlights on. I goes, hey, I've got it going on that. And they're going, get your fucking son back on and that, you know, and kicking off at me a bit and that. I says, I'm on my way now and that. And I goes, oh fuck. I goes, there's a fucking creature thing. I stood I can't get out. And they went, what do you mean? I'll have to run it over. I'll just go full bore and that. I'll run it over. And I've drawn a picture on it, and I'd say it was definitely 7 foot tall, right? And it was either a werewolf or a dog man or a shapeshifter, but it looked like a dog man thing or something, and it got yellow eyes, and it was fucking huge, and it was stood there in
Yellow
the middle of
eyes,
the road saying that if I was going
probably a
to get out, I was going to get past
shapeshifter.
me.
We got
It
yellow
was,
eyes.
yeah, yellow glowing eyes and that. I'll send you some pictures and that. So yeah, by this time I'm like proper like crapping myself, you know what I mean? And I says, look, I'm just gonna blow it. And as I did that, I spun van round in the car park, and then next thing it disappeared. So I nailed it, you know what I mean? There's like speed humps as well, so like if you go 20 mile an hour and that, you're gonna damage your suspension or something like that. If you're going over bumps and that, I was doing about 40 mile an hour. I was shitting myself, and because I ended up having to sort my suspension out a few weeks later. After that, I'd knackered my ball joints up with doing that. Um, but yeah, I'm driving and that, and they're still on the phone to me. And this, honestly, this is how crazy it is, mate. I've still got phone now to this day, and that my missus's phone and that I've got her and that. I've took pictures on it because as I'm coming out to end, it chased me. I goes, it's a fucking sign of van here now. I can't go any faster. I'm gonna rip fucking suspension off it. And as I just gets to the fucking end, my phone, well, it wasn't my phone, it's my wife's phone, it froze. So I just, it end button and that because I'd come to the main road then, so I didn't want to drive because if I get caught with police talking on the phone while I'm driving, I'd have got done for it and that. You know what I mean? You're not allowed to do that. So anyway, I gets back home and that, and she says, "I don't know what happened there." This is my wife. She went, "I don't know what's happened there, but my phone's froze." I went, "What do you mean, bro?" She went, "I can't do it. I can't turn it off. I can't." And I took pictures on it, and I did it. We had to leave it until battery went flat, so it took hours. But every hour I took a picture, and all you can see is my wife, my daughter, and me driving van, just coming out at end of Dane's Dyke, and her phone has never worked since that day. That's strange. Well, I think it is anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
With all that happening, we've seen like what I believe a dogman, shapeshifter werewolf.
yeah,
What I saw is what I saw.
they're very sleek. The Skinwalker Shapeshifter here in Central Texas, where I come from, they have a yellow eyes. I've literally
Yeah,
spoke to one when it was in the form of a man. Uh, he was pretending to be this lady's son, but it wasn't. I know it was him till later on, but his eyes were yellow, like he had a yellow glow in his eyes. So that's
yeah.
when you
It's
know
only way,
they're
only way I can describe it. You know, colour yellow. What I mean. You
yeah,
know, a glow stick. It's like a yellowy green in it. You know, glow sticks and that what you get. That
yes.
same colour. It's that colour. It's that colour. Weird, man. Weird. Strange that
You
though,
know,
because with all that happening,
you
and
see,
then
like
you know that.
very territorial. They protect the areas where they, I guess, their ground, their stomping ground. So
Yeah,
they're very
well,
territorial.
it's funny you said that, mate. It's funny you said that because what I felt is you know when I made that offering, I was going in peace. You know what I mean? To protect the forest and you know to respect it and that. And then things have just escalated from there, and it feels like I'm being chased out. I'm not welcome. You know what I mean? That's how, that's the feeling I get. And as much as I love going up there, I
Yeah.
just get that
Sometimes
feeling.
you just have to stay out of the area, man. If all this happened to you, it's like something's telling you to stay out of it. Kind of like me with Elms Grove, because I'm able to see things spiritually and sense things spiritually. They surfaced up in numbers, man, and it's like I had to move from that area because it was too hot. You
Mm.
know,
Well, Paul
it's like
says to me, he says, he says it's like, you know, he thinks that I maybe stepped on, maybe, you know, like with this with Kerridwin and that, and going up there constantly researching and investigating and doing, you know, he says, you know, I might be actually upsetting, you know, the area because might be,
yeah.
you know,
Somebody
getting a
asked
bit
me,
too, how can I put it, getting a bit too close to source or something like that. So they're trying to
somebody
protect
asked
it.
me earlier, what is a love foundation? Well, the love foundation I'm talking about is a heavenly love foundation where
Yeah.
you have no anger, no hatred, no vengeance, no fear, not believing in other things, and of course forgiveness, because forgiveness is part of love. And with
Yeah.
that, you get blessed the spiritual good discernment to be able to see the things that he's encountered. They're shown to you for a reason. So
Well, you see, my grandparents, they were spiritualists. So
yes,
I've got you know spiritual background and that. I believe. I mean, I believe in God and Jesus Christ and all that. I always have done. I know the guiding and protecting us. I even got a spiritual guide who's wha- um, an Indian brave. Is it a brave Cherokee or something like that? See, is this something related to that? Because they have feathers, don't they? You know these feathers and that. You know what I mean? Is
is it
it
like
something to do with you know? It's all I know is that years ago a medium. I went to see a medium and that, and it told me that my spiritual guide was stood at my left hand side, and he'd got his arm across my shoulders with his hand on my right shoulder, and he says that I tended to run with the lion and not the deer, whatever that means. But he was a Navajo or a Native American, a Cherokee. or Indian Brave. I think is it Indian Braves where they have one feather in the head or something like that. But
Yeah,
that
I
were when
believe
now that were
the
years. Sorry,
yes.
mate.
No, go ahead.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like that area you're talking about. The the
Dane's
girl that
Dyke.
could possibly be like a witch. I guess she had a lot of authority there. In that area. But
Mm.
they could possibly be also like a shapeshifter skinwalker. It's like they take different manifestations, but
Yeah,
they
I
just
believe.
trying to get you out of
I
that
think
area.
it's a shapeshifter, mate. I think it's a shapeshifter. That's what I
Yes,
believe. I'm 100% more or less convinced that it's a bloody shapeshifter.
they're
Somebody practicing witchcraft and the shapeshifting.
and they
For
they
them
can
feathers
use
and things to appear at my house and all that. I mean, it's miles to my house to Dane's Dyke, and there's only Paul and obviously what I'm sharing with you. So there's how is it possible that could turn up from there to there? And it didn't happen once; it happened twice. You know what I mean? It's
they
totally
they travel in
bamboozled me.
spirit, man, pretty fast. They can get to your area real fast. I moved to
Right?
a different town,
Well,
and
listen, right? What would you
they
make of
follow me
this,
to where
right?
I live
There's
now.
a crow. You know crows,
Yes,
the bird crows, right? There's one. All crows, right? And it follows me everywhere I go. It's even found me over here, and it's got white spots on it. It's not a magpie; it's a crow. And every morning I am over there going, ah! It used to follow me to shop, back, everywhere. It was watching me everywhere, downtown, everywhere. Everywhere I went, that crow appeared. It followed me. I could
could
drive
be
in
the
van up to
shapeshifter.
Dane's Dyke from house and it'd appear.
It could
So
be
I
the
don't know if
shapeshifter
that's
following you in the form manifestation of the crow.
yeah. This is what I'm thinking with feathers and that, Abe, you know what I mean? Because even on that video or one of the videos, if you can hear it crowing background going, rah, you know what I mean? Some crazy, I don't know. I mean, it's got Paul baffled, it's got me baffled, it's got many people, there's people all walks of life, the doctors and, builders, just people of all walks of life that just go up there innocently, going to have a walk, take dog for a walk or a picnic, and then, not even thinking anything to do with whatever and that, and just going for a nice day out or a bit of wild camping. And even through there was a woman Paul was telling me about not long back. She was, I'd say she was in her late 50s, I think he said, and she was a doctor. And they were her and her husband, and they were walking through the forest, and she needed a wee wee. So she's like, "Oh bloody hell!" So she gets down at the bottoms to have a wee wee. And the next thing, she's screaming and shouting. Her husband has to come and help her and that. And basically, what she'd tell Paul, what Paul told me was, something pinned her down to the floor and she couldn't get up while she was having a wee. And it scared her to death. And she heard a voice. So, and I says to Paul, I says, well, I've heard voices. You've heard voices. There's people making accounts of voices. So there's definitely something paranormal up there. Isn't there? You know what I mean? There's definitely some paranormal activity to be able to. I mean, like, because I think somebody said, "Well, do you think it's a voice projection or something like that?" Or saying, you know what I mean? I don't
Somebody
know.
voices that can mimic voices. They can mimic the voices of your loved ones, mimic animal sounds.
Mm,
Uh, that's what they do. That's what I witnessed when in Elms Grove. They were mimicking my friends. I had a friend that had moved to Pennsylvania. I had barely gotten off the phone with her that she had made it to Pennsylvania and hung up. And I'm sitting on the park bench at the park, and then I hear some rocks being thrown. I said, "Oh, it's just maybe rocks falling from the cliff of the
yeah,
creek." And then next thing you know, I hear somebody with her voice calling me. into the creek. They said, "Hey, come over here." Like here, and I was like, "Is my mind playing games
Yeah,
on me?"
like
And
that's like what
then it
happened to
said,
me.
"Hey,
That's
if
like,
it's me, come here."
yeah,
And
well,
I'm looking, it's
like what I was
dark in the
saying.
creek.
It felt like somebody were touching on my shoulder and that, and it felt I could feel breath, come past my ear, my left ear, and it says, "Come over here," and that. But voice sound, it sounded familiar. That's all I can say. Do you know what I mean? But it really freaked me out, mate. You know what I mean? It proper freaked me out.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
they can mimic.
you see,
They just
the tricksters.
mimic voices
Even Paul suggested to me. He says, "Thing is, you're dealing with things that could be tricksters. These hitchhikers
yeah,
and that."
that's what they are. I mean, uh, the Watchers were tricksters. Lucifer is a trickster, and they all come from the same source. They're all demonic in
Yeah,
nature, which are even the jinn are tricksters.
yeah.
Uh, the shadow spirits, they're tricksters. They want you to believe.
They
If you
like
give them
try and
power to
lead you
believe,
into a false sense
for
of
fear they can
security,
attack. Yes,
and then that's where you're like you just said. Then they make the attack on you, whatever, and that, innit? The possession or whatever
yeah.
their
But the
intentions may be. You
If they
know.
can get you to get scared, but guess what? They take the beastly manifestations. That's a spiritual opening.
Do you think? Do you
You
think?
see it
You
and you
know.
believe in it, then it's even more of a spiritual opening because you've seen it, you gave your fear, and then you believed it. So it says two spiritual openings that can use to attach themselves to
Mm,
you,
mm,
attack or possess you because you living wide open to get spiritually
yeah,
attacked.
that's what I was just wondering in that area, right? Because like when you get that sense and that, like your hair stands up on back of your neck or something. You get that feel, don't you? That is that where it's opening, and that's where they're attaching in. That's where the gateway is in for a minute. To do whatever they're trying to possess into you,
Yeah,
drain
they
you.
try to attach themselves here in the neck area, uh, so they can block your spiritual senses, uh, your eyes, your
Your
smell, your
chakras and
mouth,
things.
your ear. So if they can block your spiritual senses and it's already attached to you, then it's got somewhat control of you
Yeah.
because it's attached itself around the neck area, around your spine. I remember one time I was doing a
It's
live.
mad as well because I said when I was doing some filming with Paul, when this first experience, he filmed it all, so it will be coming out eventually. Because I said to Paul, I said, I'll give you all whatever information I've got, I'll get you. You know what I mean? But obviously, he says, yeah, but if you want to do your own thing, 'cause I've got my own channel and that, and do your bits and bobs and that. But he said, Paul says to me, he says, I think, well, I says to Paul, I says, I only come up wild camping and that, not thinking, oh, paranormal or out like that. I says, I just hope I don't take no back home with me and that. But that's how I feel. I feel like something's itched. Because Margaret, when I was talking to Margaret, she lives in Canada. And she goes, oh, have you been picking hitchhikers up? And I went, no, have I ever been picking hitchhikers up? And at first I didn't click on to what she was saying and that until I looked into it deeper. And I went, that's what she means, hitchhikers. Something demonic attaching itself.
Yeah, they attach around the neck area. You could think if you think about the Leviathan, kind of like that. They look freaked out. It's kind of like the way that I've seen them. When they manifested in my room one day, they look like kind of like an alien, but
Yeah.
like the little alien from the Alien movie. But this
Yeah,
ones are
yeah, yeah. They're
different.
like
They're like
the chest buster thing or whatever.
they kind of look like that, but they attach around the neck area.
Yeah.
So then they when you have an attachment, you can be speaking and you feel like something, whatever's wrapped on
Choking. Yeah, yeah.
your spine, it tightens up and it makes you like
To be
feel
honest
like
with you, I have a lot of
it's
problems
choking
with my
you
back.
out
I
because
have a
they don't
lot of
want you to
problems with
speak.
my back, but I just put it down to
Yeah,
wear and tear and that. But is it maybe my back problems that I'm having? Is it something to do with all this that's happening? Because I was all right like a couple of years ago, but all of a sudden I feel like I'm falling apart. You know what I mean?
I think I have a picture, but I have to look into my photos of one of those things in my room where it was up on top of the ceiling. And I'm like, what the hell is that? Because there was no shadow casting that. It was just on the ceiling looking at me. And I think it
Yeah.
was trying to attach itself to me. Uh, but they're in spirit form, so they're
Well,
actually attaching
I mean,
themselves to you spiritually.
I don't know what to make of it all and that, but only thing I can make of it is that whatever it is, it's real, and it's not just happened to me personally, but it happens to a lot of people globally, and yeah, I think it's real. You know, it's well, I don't think I know it's real, but it's unexplainable. You know, to get to actually try and get to the bottom of it, or to work out what it is, it's very hard. You know, because like you say, if you're dealing with shapeshifters and things like that, they can really screw up with your head and things and manifest into this and that and other. So it's hard. I believe from research that I've been doing over the last 18 months. I've been at it for over 18 months now. It's hard to pinpoint on exactly what it is, but I believe, and this is why I meant that offering and that, and Rev is called Reverend. Is a friend of mine and Paul's and that, and he says that he thinks I'm on the money. He thinks I'm on the money with witchcraft,
Yeah.
and I believe
Uh,
so as well.
well, witchcraft. When you hear shapeshift skinwalkers, that's all witchcraft and necromancy. All those beings that's dealing with witchcraft or necromancy, which mean is demonic in nature.
Mm.
So because the demons.
I just feel
Oh,
that there's no good intention in what I'm experiencing. It ain't got good intentions, if you know what I mean.
yes.
I feel like I'm being warded. Go
All
away.
I can tell you, brother, is if you ever went up in a situation where you feel overwhelmed, just remember that you're not alone spiritually. That God is with you, and you have the authority to say, "I tie, bind, and rebuke you in Jesus Christ's name." When you do
Yeah,
that, they will flee because they're a demonic source, so they'll flee when you call upon Jesus Christ, or even say the Our Father. They'll flee. That's what I've
yeah, man.
witnessed. When I go and investigate, I put it to a spiritual test, and they flee. Whether it's a dark spirit or something that manifested to look like a Bigfoot or manifested to look like a dog man or werewolf. When I've said tie body rebuke in Jesus Christ's name, they disappear.
Yeah.
They disappear in a puff of smoke smells like either sulfur, it'll smell like pestilence, and sometimes they'll leave like a goo, black goo, life behind.
When you just said sulfur, I got that
Yes,
smell. I got that smell, sulfur. I know you're ex-military like me, and
yes.
you can smell it. Like from a gunshot or something like that. You get that
Well,
sulfur smell in it.
I used to run into the djinn out there when I was guarding the borders. When I was in Operation Desert Storm, I ran into the djinn, and then I ran into it back in '95 when I went back. So they're out there
Mm,
also.
yeah,
They're tricksters. They like playing games. Just imagine, I was sleeping on my sleeping bag, and every night I could hear boots coming towards me, and they'd be pulling my sleeping bag, or
yeah.
I feel somebody choking me out. But when I would look, there would be nobody around me. So I said, okay, so I leave my clothes on. So if somebody comes at me, I'm going to catch them. So I could hear,
I used to
I had
do
my
it.
clothes on, and I hear somebody choking me, and I jumped out, but there was nobody out there. They were mimicking the voice, or they were mimicking the sound of those little remote control doom buggies that people play
Yeah, 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 yeah,
races.
yeah,
It was mimicking that voice. You could hear going around my tank, making that disembodied voice. But yeah, they're tricksters.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
Well, do you know
tricksters
what I
and
used to do
don't want to scare you
when
and attack you that way.
when we were out on manoeuvres and that in theatre and over here in UK, you call a sleeping bag, we call it a DOS bag,
Hmm.
and or a glowworm. If you, how can I? You look like a caterpillar in a cocoon. It's got a nut on it and that. And I used to get in my DOS bag, and we get issued SA 80s and that. You know what I mean? And I'd be laid there in my DOS bag, and I'd have my SA 80 put hood up, and I'd have barrel pointing at it, and the bag and that spoke, come on, just pull triggers. You know what I mean? Because like when you're asleep, you're vulnerable, aren't you? You know what I mean? That's when you're most vulnerable. So it's just what we call it stag and that, guard duty and that. We call it stag, so we take it in turn and that. So like I might have to do 2 hours stag, then so and so do 2 hours stag, and this that other. You know what I mean? It could have been like, like it's a big place, Afghanistan and that. You know what I mean? I mean, wagons that I was driving and that drop trucks, they only do like 40 mile an hour, 45 mile an hour flat out downhill. You know what I mean? I've got 50 ton of whatever on back. It could take us up to, we'd be out of 72 hours there and back. You know what I mean? In and out at front lines and things like that. You know what I mean? But that's part of the job, innit? It's part of the job, mate. Part of the job. I'd do it again. I'd do it all again. I just don't like doing a lot of running. My knees are knackered and my back is. But resting it, I don't mind sitting in wagon and driving that about. Like, I called her Betsy. That's what she would call me, wagon. I painted a picture outside the door of this lady and that. You know what I mean? With a bikini, a big lady with a bikini on, and I called her Big Betty. That's what she was called,
Big Betty, Big
Big
Betty Bomber.
Betty. It's just something
I
we're
think
doing it.
there's a song. There's a song about Big Betty. Big Betty. Some song
I
about
tell
Big
you what,
Betty.
though, I used to love driving that truck, man. I used to love driving that truck. It was a Leyland DAF, and it had got I think it was a V8 twin turbo diesel in it, doing about 420 horsepower and that, dragging about 50 ton of explosives about or something. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Good old
So
times.
we did a drop and that, and God Almighty, and that. It's like it's got like an arm thing and that. You probably know what I mean and that. And you get container and that, like a shipping container, and it hooks onto it and it goes and lifts it onto the back and that. And then all you do is you get a sheet and that, and it'll have a code on it and this sort of. It's like that one there and that reach up and away you go and that. Yeah. And there were a dozen on us. You have a Land Rover in front, and then you've got your drop trucks, and then a Land Rover at back. You've got your lead and your tail vehicle, and that. There's, because we're always constant. There'll be 4 guys in back, coming, troops and that, there's soldiers and that. And their job is to get a Land Rover, go put hazard lights on and that, so we all back up, boop, 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 you know what I mean, back up to the safe zone and that. And then they'll jump out, get metal detectors and that. We have a scanner bar, yeah, it's all right, no IDs and all that crap and that, move on. Anyway, does his job, ends up, I had to go to Kabul. I was going from Camp Bazzi to Kabul. They when me runs back and forth. Gets into Kabul anyway and that, does drop. Because there were infantry on, you know what I mean? So drops a load of ammo off, rations, water, you name it, fuel, boom, drops it all off. On way back, one of the wagons gets hit by an RPG and that through upside a container, blew a fucking 8 hole through it there. But luckily, there were fuck all in it. But if it were on way there, it would have been fucked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's one of my war stories for you.
Yeah, I got a question about the Luna female
Oh,
or
Keradwin.
demon. Uh, I know, man. Ever since you talked about her, I've been seeing it's a constant image in my mind already for a while. I keep on seeing like a circle of trees, and she's like doing something to the trees. Do
Yeah,
you
she's
think that
apparently oak
the,
tree.
fo- the f- the formation of the trees? There's a certain tree, but there's other trees. But is
It's oak
the fo-
tree and birch.
the oak tree, the formation of the trees? Do you think it has to do something with her being? What I see, she's just there's a certain tree that was to the front, but there's other trees around her. I
Yeah,
wonder
yeah, yeah.
if that's the only place she's contained is within that circle or where the
Well,
formation of
there's
the
some
trees
no
are.
that I've been. I mean, I've been back. I mean, this is like 12 months later. Because I've got two. I didn't have dogs at the time and that. One of my kids and that. She just had a little baby boy and that. And a few months back, she says, "Dad, could you have dogs for me?" And that. I went, "Wow, what's up?" She went, "I've got to go for a C-section and that. I'm having complications with my pregnancy and that, and I can't take dogs out or this and other." I went, yeah, all right, I'll have dogs. She went, "Yeah, but the strong, like the big dogs and that. Do you think you can cope with them?" I went, "Yeah, of course I can. Don't worry about that. I love, you know what I mean? Because it's my daughter and that. Yeah, they only weigh 10 stone each, and they're American bulldogs. You know what I mean? They're keen, mate. They're keen. But I've got them now, good for good now. They're my dogs now. They're stopping with me and all that and that. I take them everywhere and that, and they protect me. But I went up to that spot to do some filming. In fact, I'll have to try and find video for you, and I'll send it you. They don't like it. They do not like it. When I go near there where she was, they go mad, mate. They go mad. They don't like it. They go off their head. Barking, howling, whining, you name it. They just don't like it at all and that. But then I can go anywhere else and that, away from that area, in that woodland at Danes Dyke, and they're all right. But if I go near there, where that witch was, do not like it.
No, I
So,
think
animal
she res-
sensings.
she resides there. That's her area. That the space where those trees are, or something dealing with a tree, because that's her area where
It's
she.
that tree, mate. It's that tree. Bang on the money. It's something to do with that tree. Because that's what Reverend said to me and that. And he says, "What, go and make an offering and put some acorns under it and that." So as I was researching into it, it come up with jet and dragon stones. So I put two dragon stones and a piece of jet there, and then put some acorns there. And if you watch that video, I did a test with my multimeter, and I just get like a little reading and that. Dummy
Yeah, I'll
offering,
check out the video,
put
brother.
probes in, and it just goes off at scale, mate. You know what I mean? So there's definitely something there, isn't there? You know what I mean? Meter don't lie. You know what I mean? It doesn't lie. It's detecting some energy. You know what I mean? An EMF
Yeah,
or something. You know what I mean? You can't. A meter does not lie. It's a military grade meter as well. It's from NATO. You know what I mean? It's acquired.
yes,
So it's not no Mickey Mouse thing and that. You know what I mean? It's the proper thing. It's the real deal. So if that tells you what it's telling you, that's what it's telling you. You know what I mean? It's there. You know what I mean? But yeah,
somebody says, do you think that if the tree was cut down, she could escape?
I I don't know. I won't. To be honest with you, I'd be scared to cut it down.
I think that tree that's there, that's where she does her spells, or she's.
Yeah, to me, because you were facing tree, right, Abe, and that,
Yeah, she was on
and
the
she were
tree
like,
doing. Yeah, like she was
you
writing
know what I
something
mean?
on the
Only
tree.
way I can describe it is she was actually facing. She was on her knees, right, facing the tree, and she were
Yeah,
burning things and that, and waving it about, and she's got candles round her with all these feathers in stones and that, and stuck in tree and
yeah.
that and thing.
Because what I seen like behind her by near another tree, if you move the leaves, you will find the bones of dead animals
Yeah.
in that area, which I believe she's done uh
Mm.
blood
What do you
sacrifice
think that
rituals
means?
with animals.
What do you think that means?
That she's that area, shapeshifter skinwalkers, uh, when they manifest, they might have the capabilities of
Do you think
killing
she
other
might be
animals.
that crow that keeps following me about?
Yeah. So that's what I seen. It looked like the bone looked like a bone of a, how should I explain it?
A rabbit
Like
or
of an
something?
like of a cow or a mule, something like that, like the or a cow. It was just a
Yeah.
piece of bone, and by some, if you move the branches to the trees where you've seen her behind her, there'll be some bones there, like a den where she's
Well,
probably done
when that
the
day
blood
when
rituals, or she gets the hide of the animals to be able to manifest if she is like a shapeshifter skinwalker.
I believe it's a skinwalker what I've encountered. I really
Yes.
do. I really do. I don't. I know you got your dog men and your werewolves and all this over, but I truly believe the encounters that I've come into and experienced is a shape-shifting witch thing. Shapeshifters, in it, you know what I mean? It's witchcraft or something like that.
Yeah.
That's what I believe, anyway. Um,
It could have been that area also, where the trees are, that maybe there was a burial ground. Sometimes they will plant trees where somebody's body was, and the tree would grow. And this, I believe maybe those some of those trees, there might be a dead body of somebody there, and they grew.
mm.
So the
See,
trees have,
there's ancient burials there as well. You know what I mean?
yes,
Even that, you know what I mean? It goes back to the Neolithic period. You know what I mean? Because I find flints and stuff all over. Like flint arrowheads and things all the time, and that all over the place, and that a lot of like napping. Flint napping and stuff, and you know a lot of stuff. It's quite an interesting place, and that it's beautiful. Like, believe me, nice sunny day and that. It's beautiful. You have a walk round and that. You have a little picnic. It's over, but then even through daytime, you can get a little bit of an eerie feeling and that. But I tell you what, when it gets dark, it all changes.
if I were to go there, to that area, they'll show themselves to me. Yeah, it's as I walk with a Heavenly Love Foundation, whatever's in the areas, they show themselves to me, or I catch them on video and stuff like that. It's, it's through
Well,
spiritual law,
Paul
they
Sinclair,
have to identify themselves.
Josh goes on his channel as well. He knows Josh, and Josh knows
Hmm.
him. Paul, my friend, and that. He messages me every morning, around about 7, 8 o'clock every day. Paul Sinclair messages me every morning to make sure I'm all right. And when I said to him, I'm going to go do some, festering. I call it festering, investigating, basically, snooping
Yeah,
about.
just
He'll
keep
always say to me,
your house protected. Keep your house blessed. I always carry this around. Well, I got a cross right now on my neck, but
"Well, I've
I always
got, I've
carry
got some
my,
rosemary beads here and that. I've got my
yeah.
rosemary beads and that." And
I got a
I know it
selenite,
sounds a bit crazy, but
like tourmaline.
my old
Yeah,
neighbour, right? I don't know what you want to make of this and that, but they are lovely people and that. They're called Dave and Val, and they were mine and my wife's neighbours and that. We're not living in house that we're in now. We've moved and that, because of black mold. It was full of black mold and all sorts. It was subsiding part of the house and all that because so we had enough. So we moved and that. But the lovely people and that, and when we first moved there and that, because they were there before us, we went back garden one of the days, and I'm down back garden, me being me, I have my daft moments and that. I like a wisecrack. A bit comedy time and that. I'll have a laugh and that and a crack.
Uh,
You know
when
what I mean? You
there's
can't be
like
serious all the time, innit? So
black mildew
I
and stuff.
sticks my head through bush, right, eh, right? I sticks my head through bushes. They're sat that by my garden and that, and they're doing this hungry brown days and remember about whatever, you know. And I goes, can I watch and that? And she's a witch and he's a warlock. And I've got it here in my pocket now, right? I've got a silver chain with this ring on it, and Egypt, they used to make scarab beetles, didn't they, out of that yellow glass from deserts in Egypt that possibly could be some nuclear explosion or something like that. Because
Yes, I know
it
which
had to
glass.
be a
I
high
got some of
temp.
that glass.
You
I
what,
know
mate?
the yellow. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've got a silver ring with a piece of that in it, and on my chain and that, and it was mad. She went. They've got a shop. It's called Pie Wackets. She sells magic wands and all sorts of things and that. And I went down and I showed her these pictures, stuff I've been sending you and that. I've got loads more to send you and that. I says, "What do you make of them?" And that. She's like, "Oh," she went, "Have you got that ring on you and that?" I went, "Yeah." So she went, "Oh, did the thing and
Got all
blessed it
kinds
and
of
that to protect me from evil."
minerals.
Yeah. And well, that particular day, right? This was second, that feather that I was on about that turned up in my pathway thing and that. Well, about 2 weeks later, we were downtown and bumps into Val, who was a witch, and I'm telling her about it again and that. I says, I found this bloody feather and that, blah, blah, blah. And she's going, oh, she blessed me ring again and that. Anyway, we gets back home just from more or less, like, you come along road, go round corner, and our house is there, right? And there's this, like, green electric box thing, isn't there, Julie?
Yeah.
Right? And there were a bloody feather in a stone on it. So I've ended up with two of them. And I'd been talking to her, what, about an hour ago, weren't we? So she was giving us a love, and I know she's a lovely woman and that. I know she's a witch and that, but she's a good witch. She's not an evil or like that. Well, I believe she's not evil. And her husband,
The
he's a
white witch.
warlock. But she says, keep that ring on you and it'll protect you. So whether, do I believe that she's done it and it protects me, or is it a blag, if she trickster in me or something like that? I don't know. But what I do believe is when I do wear it, don't I, Joe? I don't have as many encounters or strange feelings. But if I don't wear it,
Yeah, it
and
keeps the negative energies away.
yeah, and it's silver in it, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so she's not a bad witch, she's a good witch, and that they're not practicing dark magic or crap like that. And they're nice people who were our neighbours for
Yeah.
many, many years, and that we used to have dinners with them and things, and
Yeah.
talk
I like
and
wearing black tourmaline around my neck and selenite because black tourmaline
selenite.
uh,
Is that what it is?
gets
Is that what
away
it's called?
ne- negative energies, and then selenite brings your guardian angels and angels to protect you.
Right, that's interesting to
I
know.
keep it around my neck when I go investigate, even when I go dancing. Everywhere I go, I keep
And
it
I
around me.
rumour has you've been dancing, haven't you?
Yeah. I went out dancing tonight, and Sister
Been boogie.
Madeline's like, no, said no
Bit of
invite. It
party
was my
time.
birthday.
Been boogieing.
I didn't know. It was like I thought that the dance was tomorrow, but my wife said it was today. It's like, oh man. So
Not,
times
not,
like
not,
in
not. What is it? Body popping or whatever it is, isn't it? Spinning
no,
round on
that's
floor. Like
witches. Sometimes they show up, man. Oh, here
that.
what they call dark witches. They'll show up. It's kind of like they'll try to. When they're trying to do something to you is when they try to come and touch you.
Yeah.
Like make contact with you, especially somebody you don't know. That's why you got to be careful.
Mm. See, this is why it's good to discuss things and share information with people because, like,
Or if somebody touches
it's
you, you
it's
don't
it's
know
been
who they
doing my
are.
head in for the last 2 years
If,
now. This,
if they touch
but
you and you're at a dance or in a public and you don't know who that is, touch them right back. Because if they're trying to play something on you, you touch them back, it's going to be
we
back on
place it
them.
back. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good advice. That yeah,
Be
I'll
careful with
remember that.
the ones that cry because when they're crying, they're trying to transfer the demons to you. When they're crying,
Well,
trying to
my wife's here
look through
now,
you.
Abe. Right? Well, she's here now, right? Listen, Abe, on about mimicking voices and things like that.
Sleep, dreaming.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Now she's been experiencing a lot of this, Abe. Right? Thinking,
I'm inside.
people's talking to her,
I'm
or
inside. I'm sleep, silence and blackness, silence, and
yeah,
you have to spot on in background.
yeah. I have to have some background noise because every noise or bump or bang, I'm up, down, up, down. Up, Rex Mill, innit? You know what I mean?
Listening to these help me through.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's changed his life, hasn't it?
I lay there listening, until I sleep.
Yeah,
It's changed his life in a good way, though.
whenever you hear the disembodied voices or you hear like sounds like bangings, take authority over it immediately, you know, because you got children in your home and you got to protect your children.
Yeah,
So
correct.
you
Yeah.
take authority over it and say, hey, you're not welcome here, leave. Take authority over it and tell it to leave. And it has to leave, it has to listen to you. Uh,
Mm.
and they leave.
Tell Jesus
You
Christ, innit?
through Jesus Christ, you have to tie, bind, and rebuke it through Jesus Christ and tell it to leave, and they'll leave you alone. You can protect your home if you got something pure like olive oil, or if you got holy water, put
Yeah,
some heavenly crosses on the doorways and windows. And
I,
matter of
I,
fact, we
I,
can
I
pray.
bathe in olive oil. I put it all over my body, mate.
Yeah, we can pray for you right now. I'm going to pray for bless your through prayer right now. Your location at your home, your children, and you, your wife. Heavenly Father, at this time we'd like to pray uh, for our brother here and his family. We'd like to place heavenly spiritual crosses on each family member from head to toe. We'd like to place heavenly spiritual crosses on their doorways, on their windows, on the mirrors, any item they have in their house, on their vehicle, on their pets. As we pray for this, Heavenly Father, we would like to tie, bind, and rebuke the witchcraft and necromancy that witch was doing in the woods. We tie, bind, and rebuke you in Jesus Christ's name. Whatever you're trying to do, or you're still trying to do, you're not allowed to affect them or the family in any kind of way, shape, or form. We're sending whatever you're trying to do back to you because they don't want uh, the witchcraft for necromancy. We type and rebuke you. Anything, any spells or any demons that are surfaced up because of them going out there to the location. And for the shapeshifter skinwalkers, we type and rebuke you also to leave them alone. We take authority over you in Jesus Christ's name. Heavenly Father, send your heavenly angels and send the Holy Spirit to do a clean sweep of their home, of their personal foundation, for them not to fear because you are with them, and for them not to be believing in these things, but to have understanding, to be able to fight spiritually through you, Heavenly Father, uh, as we tie, bind, and rebuke them. In Jesus Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, bro.
Yeah, thank you for
Thank
that.
you, bro.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Yeah, prayer is very important, brothers and sisters.
It is. It is
You,
very important, my friend.
yeah, and sometimes we get caught up with the moment. You could be asleep, you wake up from a bad dream, and we just forget, some of this because we're just
Mm.
human, it's just
Well,
when
when
you when
I
you know
think
it's
it
a
was
spiritual
yesterday, I
battle,
was saying,
you have to bring that prayer in to fight spiritually, man. It's very important.
I think it was
And I
yesterday,
think
and that when you were on yesterday and that, and I mentioned to you about Julie having these dreams being lost. Only way I can describe it, Abe, is you're better. She's here now. Explain to
I
Abe.
get lost and I feel paralysed and I can't walk and I can't talk, I can't move.
She's having
And then
constant,
and then I'm exhausted. I'm only going for like an hour and a half
uh,
sleep, and I'm seeing all these different faces, people that I've not even seen before.
like imaginary people or saying. I don't know how
yeah,
to describe it. It's like how she's trying to describe it to me.
I,
It's like imaginary faces or people.
I'm in places where I don't even
Uh,
know. Yeah,
yeah, she's
and
like
I'm
lost.
lost in
She's
it.
lost. You know what I mean? I don't
that's
know. I don't know.
that's what the attack. They're trying to keep you. Well, you're dreaming like that, and you're trapped in the dream that way. The succubus and incubus, they're draining your life source, where they're keeping you
Yeah, well, that's it.
preoccupied in the
It's
dream.
making us ill, mate. It's making us ill.
And then I feel exhausted. I feel
Yes,
absolutely
Yeah.
exhausted.
It
that,
don't matter how much
that,
sleep we get, we just feel knackered
that's what
Feel
and
they
like
do.
I
exhausted
feel
all
like
the
I've
time.
been on a mission, and I've been on a really mad mission.
Like we've been running miles and miles and miles or something and
But
then been chased or something like that.
that's what we prayed, and everything's gonna get better at your household. We send them all away, so now the Heavenly Father is intervening with His angels and the Holy Spirit. They've done a clean sweep of your personal foundation and your home. And those things that were there, they're not there no more. I can tell you this: when I was praying, there were there in numbers. There was many. I guess because of
Yeah.
where you've
Yeah, that's how
been,
we
and
feel
Yeah,
like. That's
yeah,
how
there
we
was there
feel.
was there was many. I'm talking about many things in play. It's kind of like they were trying to take a stronghold of your house and y'all, trying to bond y'all.
they've took us
But I'm
They've
house,
took
glad
his house.
that
took us
y'all
house,
But
came
took us
here,
children.
they've
and
took his
yeah, and the
well
children, because
Yeah, they took us
normally
house, they
when they
took us
bond the
children,
we've lost,
kids,
I'll be honest with you, they've took his house, mate. They've took his kids and we're living in my camper van at my
and
dad's.
that's without him even knowing. And
Yeah.
he's already said it.
Mm. That's
everything will
why I
be
believe
get
in
better.
Jesus Christ and his
Yes,
Heavenly Father.
Sister
Like
Madeline
Sister
says, my
Abe and that,
life
my
is
grandparents were
cutting as
spiritless.
Go on, Abe. Sorry,
yes.
go on.
I know exactly what you're dealing with because I've dealt with that, and I deal with it all the time. It's been the story of my life. I know, when you encounter something so many times, you get tend not to fear it anymore or not to give
Mm.
it any kind of power because
Yeah,
uh, we are children of the light. We're
Yeah,
children
they're
of God,
feeding on
and
his energy, innit, Abe? That's what it is.
yeah,
Feeding on his energy. I mean, look what's
yeah,
happening to brother Josh Turner and that, you know what I mean? He's constantly under attack all the time. And you know something, he's a sound guy, you know what I
sometimes
mean?
they're good. You get,
Yeah.
yeah.
And, he's just doing what he's doing and that, and, like you are, or I would be, and he comes under attack from these, I don't know, people, things, whatever you want to call them or whatever. You know what I mean? And, yeah,
everything will be better. Everything is going to be better now that we prayed, and uh, you had all the things that you said. Those are the things that were in play. You
mm,
talked about some kind of witch that was in play.
witchcraft.
Or you
Yeah.
shaped the skinwalker that was in
It
play.
all, listen, Abe, it all
Oh,
started from 2nd of June, didn't it? It was 2nd of June, wasn't it, last year? When I've just been telling you about my experiences, where it touched my shoulder and I heard voice and
well,
all that.
whatever you do,
It's all
I'm gonna
started
I'm
from
gonna
that day.
give you some advice because we prayed against it for it to go back to the sender if somebody's trying to do some witchcraft or necromancy. So I'll tell you within 7 to 8 days, just be careful who you make contact with because there's going to be
Yeah,
somebody that's going to come up to you, could be a complete stranger that might tell you how you doing? Are you good? Is your health good? Because they want to know if whatever they were trying to do to you is still in effect. So that's how you're gonna know who it is that's was doing the harm to
Yeah,
you.
man.
So
Yeah.
I
Be
suggest do not
vigilant.
make contact. Do not make contact with them, or anything. Just stay away from them. But
Yeah.
they're gonna somebody gonna try to come to you because that's what they
Yeah.
do.
Well, I think best thing I
It's
can do,
spiritual
Abe,
battle.
is I think best thing I can do is you know, like you just said there, avoid at all costs. And
Avoid it.
any encounter that I do get, like you've just said, then I'll know who it is.
'Cause in 7 to 8 days, normally that's normally happens when we're fighting a spiritual warfare. 7 to 8 days. It
Yeah,
might even happen sooner. It depends on what they were wishing upon you. It's gonna go back the 7 times fold.
I've got
So it
this
will.
feeling. I know it sounds crazy, and that, but I've just got this feeling that there's some people want me dead.
Well, it's already in effect that it's going back to them, brother, because we prayed against it, and right now I'm not seeing all this threats anymore around you because it's gone back to the sender. Whatever they
Good.
were trying to wish upon you, it's gone to them because
Yeah.
the
Some may
Heavenly
call
Father
it
intervened.
karma, innit? Reap what
Yes,
you sow, innit?
yes,
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother.
you're welcome, brother. Yeah, I'm not
Nice, nice
feeling
to
what I
hear.
was feeling when I was talking. The image of what I was seeing of the trees that's gone. The image of what I felt in your home, it was being infiltrated. That's gone. Um, the everything that you've spoken is lifted right now because the Heavenly Father has intervened, and you're praying in true faith. Call upon Him also, so He's answered your prayers. Now, all you got to do is just maintain your love foundation and just pay attention spiritually around you, because
Yeah,
your senses are back to y'all normal, because there's nothing bonding you no more. So just the enemy always going to try to come back one way or the other. So all I know is that the Heavenly Father's intervened, and whatever that was trying to be done unto you is going back to the sender. That's all I have to
yeah,
say. It's going back to the sender. So
Thank
y'all
you.
good right now.
yeah. Thank you very much,
Thank
brother.
you. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
Y'all very welcome. I know how that is. They always try to bond the head of the household. Once about the bond the head of the household, then they go after the children.
Yeah, well, that's obviously me, innit? And then they've gone seeking me wife and then my
And
children
now
and that.
all that is lifted because it's going back to them because you're not accepting it. You already made your spiritual stance. You brought Jesus Christ into the picture with the heavenly angels. So everything you'll see, everything's going to surface up, and you'll have more understanding, and then you're going to know that
Yeah,
uh,
things are
when
going to
something
make a
comes
change in
spiritual,
that,
yes,
hopefully, innit?
yes,
Now.
Yeah,
positive
Yes.
change.
yeah, positive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
positive. Yeah.
So how y'all feeling right now?
Feeling good. Feel
Was
lifted.
there a certain location in your home where you felt something, uh, like a
We moved
living
out
room,
of his
the
home
living
Yeah,
now.
room?
we're not actually in a zone now, Abe, and that.
We've lost his home.
And we've lost his home, and
His children's with my eldest daughter.
yeah, children with eldest daughter, they're safe. They're safe.
They're happy. They're
Okay,
thriving.
It's just me and my wife. We're living with my dad. He's not very well. He's got polyps. I don't know if you know what they are,
yeah,
and that. He's got to go back in hospital, so I'm looking after my dad, and
We'll live in Amsterdam.
I've got luckily I've got my camper van, so we're living in that, and for temporarily, um, and we're just I'm trying to get a new house, and that we're going to relocate. Um, hopefully, when we relocate, whatever has been affecting us,
We're
and
getting a lot of energies that go down slowly.
yeah, bad energies and that. Honestly, mate, it was weird in that house because we'd not even actually moved in when we first got that house, didn't we, Julie? Right? Neighbour comes across the road and that. Never met him in my life and that. You know what I mean? I'd only got halfway down driveway, me and my wife and kids. You know what I mean? We just signed for the house and that, got keys and all that. This lady appears and she goes, "Oh yeah, I found man dead in back garden and that and this
A lot of
other."
activity going off in the
Yeah, there were a
house.
lot of weird things going off and this that other and sex orgies and gay activity and this. I like, look, don't be saying that in front of my kids. Go away. I ain't even got in my house. Who the hell are you? You know what I mean? This is what going through my head.
It
So
sounded
anyway,
like she was the like that's like an of indirect way of witchcraft. They're not saying it directly, but like indirectly,
And then she was
like wishing
buying the
something
kids
bad.
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
buying kids stuff and
asking
going,
when's
oh.
the birthday, and
Yeah.
yeah,
I used
fetching
to
us
call. I know
strawberries.
it sounds daft and that, but I used to call her cartoon head.
It felt like it were a bribe, like a
Yeah,
bribe. Like,
Yeah.
and the reason why I call her cartoon head, right? Because she sounded cuckoo. I used to go cuckoo to her like
Well,
that. She's
because they
like
pretend.
she used to come across me, hey mate, going, "Hey, ooh," you know what I mean? It's like fuck's sake, you know what I mean? I ain't even got it bastard house yet.
buy your kids something for the
You
birthday,
know
buy
what
them
I mean?
this, won't you?
And then she turned really bitter towards us and that. And my mother-in-law, right? She's had both hips and knees replaced and that. She's more robot. She's like a Terminator. She's more metal than
Just
physical
Yeah,
body.
bless
surgery.
her, bless her. I know.
You know what I mean? But she's knocking on that now, right? And listen, right? How rotten is this? She can
77.
barely move, right? Gets this letter from council saying parking on drive without our permission. So I gets back in. I says, "Hey, it's my mother-in-law." I says,
"77 year
she's
old."
more robot than you know what I mean. She's like a sidebar. She can barely move. Are you doing this? Yes, but you didn't ask for our permission. I went, well, what you getting as a property?
We'll
We're
drive.
drive for, and we're not allowed to park on it. And there's neighbour coming across, fucking cartoon head and that. Ooh, sausage surprise. You know what I mean? Honestly, mate, it's bonkers. I can't. I'm glad I'm away from it. I've just had enough. I've had enough. I can't cope with it no more. I've had enough. It's destroyed me and my family. They've took every penny we've got, every penny we ain't got.
There's holiday showers took
Yeah,
away.
we had holiday homes, right? We had a business and that we were running and everything. Oh, we had like 60 grand for holiday homes. We were earning some decent coin and that. Just getting by and all that.
The
I retired
council,
from army, and then it just all went tits up. It all went tits up in it.
since we've been with council,
Yeah,
really, innit?
clownsel. I call it clownsel, me. That's what they are, clowns.
I appreciate you listening to us, Abe.
No, it's nice,
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna call it a night now. Anytime y'all going through something, you're more than welcome to contact me, or if y'all
Yeah.
send me the
Well, I've
lives.
got your messenger now and that, so
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I don't want to be a nuisance, mate. But I'll
No,
keep in touch
that's no
with you.
problem, brother. That's what we're here for, to help
I'll
out one
send you
another.
as much pictures and information that I
Alrighty, buddy.
find or whatever. Support one
If
another,
you don't mind,
and I
I'll play some
appreciate.
on spiritual encrypted encounters, and I'll make some short reels so y'all can see them here.
Uh,
If you
well,
that's
I really want to stress on that. Really, really appreciate Abe.
no
Your
problem, brother.
prayers and
God is
and
gonna
your
bless
time and
you.
everything
He's gonna bless you a
for
lot
me and my
more.
family.
Everything's gonna get better. Alrighty, brother.
There's more to my story and that. I've only just
That's
scratched
fine.
surface and that, so we could do it another time and
Well,
that.
now we've got to know him
Yeah,
and talk to him, yeah, there's
It's
more.
bloody time differences, isn't it? You know what I mean? What time
yeah.
is it here now? UK. Let's have a look. Oh, it's
Right
nearly
here,
12 o'clock. It's nearly midday now at UK, so you're going to be
it's
knackered, you, mate.
5:51 in the morning here.
Good morning, oh, bless you. Bless you.
But no, I really,
But
really, I can't thank you enough and that. Really, really appreciate
you're welcome, brother.
prayers and that,
You
my
see,
friend.
everything's gonna be for the better now. Things will
Yeah.
be a lot better.
I'm going to keep you informed and that, and see how things go and that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to avoid at all costs anybody dodgy. And if anybody does appear dodgy and I encounter it, I will tell you about
Yeah,
that. And then,
just 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 don't make contact, dodge them,
Don't have
yeah, no,
contact
and
them.
no, I
Yeah.
because
agree,
it's
mate.
not
I agree.
the Heavenly Father. He's our protector and our avenger, and it's on him now. However he handles the situation, he'll handle
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
situation
What
accordingly.
will be in it. You know what I mean? And I also appreciate everybody else that's been listening and taking on board all this and that and support and everything. You've got a good channel here, mate.
Thank you,
I
brother.
like it, and
Thank you.
I listen to it
Here's
every day and that.
We're drawn to it
I
now,
was
so
worried about it
yeah, we love
actually. Let me just say this on that, right? We're back to these, what's been happening, ripping through Florida and Texas and that, these tornadoes or whatever they are and that.
Yeah,
So I was worried
we have
about
one
it because I
sector
know
here.
you're in Texas and I thought, I hope you're fucking alright, mate. You know what I mean? Pardon my French. But yeah.
Yeah, we had a tornado that passed and ripped half our town, but we recuperated. A lot of people have been fixed had to redo their roofs and
But
everything.
what I've been seeing, it looks shocking, mate. It looks shocking. And
you
that's a
feel
polite
for
way of putting it.
feel
I
for
feel for you all, and I'm gonna pray, like I
Thank you,
always
brother.
do. And I hope everybody, I think last I heard, well, they found 40 dead up to present time. There were 10-foot waves coming in 3 miles into land. It's awful. It's awful. You know what I mean? God bless everybody. You know what I mean? I hope you're
Thank
all
you,
right
brother.
over there and that.
Thank you
Be
for coming
safe.
on, brother.
Be
God
safe.
bless you
Be
all.
safe.
Thank you,
Love, light,
Abe.
and
Thank
blessings.
you. Thank
You're
you.
very
You take
welcome.
care, love. Love you.
I'll
Bye.
speak
Thank
to
you.
you
I
again
will do.
soon
Bye.
and that. And
Okay.
everybody else, take care. God bless.
Thank you, everybody.
Remember Jesus Christ, Heavenly Father.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Abe. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Take care, mate.
You too, brother.
I will as best I can.
There you go, brothers and sisters. We had a good guest tonight. Uh, he has sent me a lot of pictures. I've been seeing the pictures, which I see things within the pictures. I just haven't posted nothing. I'm glad that came on here tonight with his wife, and I could relate to everything that he was saying because as he was saying his stories, I was seeing images. Images of the things that of the stories that he was saying, and those images were staying in my mind there for a very long time. So that's why I chose to pray against them because it was too many images being shown to me that literally they were being spiritually attacked by many things. That's why we went into prayer and we sent them out. You know, I was listening to everything they were saying, and hopefully, I'm not gonna say hopefully because I know what the Heavenly Father can do. Good things will come for them because we've done changed that through prayer tonight. I want to say thank you to the moderators for doing an excellent job, even though it was late. I call it the morning, and I mean, there was it night owl and rooster morning. I want to say thank you for tuning in. I know it's late at night. Uh, saying that again, happy birthday to Sister Madeline Chap. I don't know what she's gonna do for her birthday, but happy birthday. And for brother, who was it, Runner? He said his birthday is coming up on the 2nd. Happy free birthday to your Runner. If you're still here, he probably fell asleep. Is any questions that anybody would like to ask me before I go about the show tonight? I think it was an awesome show with brother Joel and his wife. Uh-oh, Sister Madeline's going dancing. Murphy's birthday is tomorrow. How you doing, business? You gotta get that cardio. The cardio. Oh, sorry about that, runner. You working right now, Sister Madeline? I know you've been working. I want to say a shout out to the Turners, Brother Josh Turner, Sister Nellie Turner. Continue to keep y'all in prayer for the whole family. Uh, as a matter of fact, let's pray right now before I go. Heavenly Father, at this time, I'd like to pray for uh, all the Turners, the brothers, every family member, anybody that's going through anything. We tie, bind, and rebuke any witchcraft, necromancy, unclean spirits, anything that's been summoned. We tie, bind, and rebuke in Jesus Christ's name. Leave the Turners alone and the family members. We call upon the heavenly angels and the Holy Spirit to do a clean sweep of their immediate foundation, their homes. We place heavenly spiritual crosses on the doorways and the windows, passageways, anything they own, uh, personal heavenly crosses on each member from head to toe. Send your angels of healing and protection. This I pray in your name. This I pray in Jesus Christ's name. Amen. Well, there's my sister right there. You're welcome over, Bill. How you doing, sis? Yes, Sister Madeline's birthday today, sis. She's 30 years old. She just turned 30. She's a pollito, pollita, pollito. Yeah, I just finished doing a live. I went out dancing last night and still did a live, sis. I don't drink. I just drink water. But you can watch the replay, sister. I was fixing to come off. Uh, pollita. Like cousin Jason says, she's a duende pollita. She's a little duende pollita. Yeah, Primo Jesse was knocked out asleep. I guess after 2 o'clock, it's too late for him to come live. It's past his curfew. Well, happy birthday, oh Bill. But in saying that, brothers and sisters, tune in tonight. We'll be going live tonight, 11 o'clock. Thank you all for everybody that tuned in. God bless you again. Happy birthday to Sister Maddie. Don't party too much now. Yeah, he missed a good one today. I thought sometimes it was meant that way, you know. Uh, I get to really connect with the guest because there's no like too many people that can be interference. So I'm able to connect with the spirit, not just the spirit of the guest, but the things that are around spiritually. I used to be a babysitter for Pollito Pollito. And I could talk a little bit more here with a guest. Me and my sister, we're 10 months apart. So when December comes on her birthday, she catches up to me every year. So every time she catches up to me, she's like, I caught up to you because we're 10 months apart. So then when my birthday comes around, she was like, I done pat, I get older than her, but we're only 10 months apart. Yeah, exuberance. I've been doing solo. Yeah, I've been going solo on videos and just talking, man. You know, uh, when I first created doing anything was positive spiritualist. Positive spiritualist is when I was going through what I was through in Elms Grove, and I had all kinds of crazy pictures. My sister remembers. I think the one time they invited me to their house, and I'm just taking random pictures because of the activity that was happening in my house. So I was like, I could sense things, and I was seeing things, and sometimes when you're going through that, people might not understand what you're going through because I understand that everybody's got to live life, but when it was coming at me the way it was crazy. But I just thank God that I overcame all that, and I'm here doing the good works, trying to help out everybody that I can spiritually. Yeah, it's like I could sense when my sister was going through something, then she could sense when I was going through something. So it's kind of like she knows and I know, but sometimes is is there could be disturbances within the spirit because there's other forces that try to interfere spiritually. So that's why I always talk to my brothers and sisters about forgiveness is part of love. It's kind of like if we were in the day of judgment, uh, God said, "How do you expect me to forgive you if you didn't forgive?" No, you would tell me, "How do you expect me to forgive you if you never forgive anybody?" So that's why it's important to forgive because forgiveness is part of love. Good night, Sister Madeline. Buenas noches o buenas mañanas. Sister Ivy was busy 10 months apart. Wait. Okay, let me see. Sister Ivy says, "Hey, did your sister and you asked if y'all were twins?" My two youngest were always said that they were twins. Uh, I'm not sure. I know a lot of her friends like me. Always trying to come after me. Uh, I don't know. I was just the older brother. I was looking out for him. People trying to come at him in a negative way. I have to set him straight. Mainly guys. Guys was always trying to be perverts with my sisters. being disrespectful, and that's when they will call Big Brother to go handle the situation. Or sometimes I'll just get up and handle the situation. I will tell them stop disrespecting my sisters, or else. They say, or else what? When they tell me or else what, then I do what I got to do, and I would do. I think I did my best to look out for my all my family, my brothers and sisters. You know, and I still do in the sense of way spiritually. You know, somebody's going through something or they need spiritual advice. There I go. There I am, and vice versa. You know, well, there in January. Yeah, my sister's. She's in from December, and I'm from February. Yeah, but my sisters, they can handle their own too. They're tough as nails. uh, yeah, I think my sisters got in more fights than I did when I was in high school and junior high. I wouldn't take crap for nobody. You know, they're fighters. Well, our mother, you know, this coming month is going to be her anniversary. She taught us uh, not to take anything from anybody. Uh, not to be carpets because if you're a carpet, then people are going to step all over you. So that makes us who we are. I don't know if my sister's still here or not. I don't see her commenting. I think, oh, there she is. Exuberant said his is January 16th. Yeah, my brother's is the 28th. I was born on Groundhog Day to top it all. 2269. That's when I was born at 6 in the morning on Groundhog Day. So I kind of can tell when it's going to get cold. So instead of asking the weatherman if it's going to be colder for a couple of more months, just ask me. I'll let you know. I can sense that when it's going to get colder or it's going to be hotter. But in saying that, y'all, that's going to be it for me. If y'all want to tune in later on at 11 o'clock at night with me and cousin Jesse, uh, tune in. Thank y'all for being here. God bless y'all. Everybody have a beautiful, blessed day. Sister Ivy says empty wallet too. Hello, many gifts. Good night, everybody. I don't got my hat on, but I'll salute y'all. I'll get it right here. Gro- Well, I guess you could say I'm related to Bugs Bunny because uh because of the holes, right? Jumping Bugs Bunny would jump from hole to hole. There we go. I'm related to Bugs Bunny, but I'm a groundhog. Good night, sis. Good morning. Time for me to crash out. Good night.